Yo. 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 What's good, you two? What's good? What's good? Lomachenko, Kambosos. Let's go. Let's go. Let's go. Let's go. Let's go. We are here. What's up? Who's here? Who's here? Check in real quick. If you are watching, check in. Hit me up in the comments. Who's here? I see the Viral Chronicles is here. What's good with you, bro? Hakeem, what's happening, man? What's up? What's up? What's up? I made it, man. I made it. I made it. What's up, Josh? What's good with you, man? Salute, salute. Nah, Joe, what's up, man? He asked when the car start. So when I read it earlier and I did the breakdown super early this morning before I went to work. And I was looking earlier this morning, it said 8 p.m. Eastern, but I cannot find the actual, like, I guess the preliminaries. And it's saying 10 p.m., which is in 30 minutes. So I don't know if they're showing a preliminary, but whether they're showing it or not, I'm just going to talk to y'all about boxing anyway. You know, we're going to talk about, we have a little bit of time, so we might as well talk about a little bit about the fight, because we really haven't been talking about like this fight like that. You know, I mean, even the other few content creators that I follow, no one's talking about the fight. Everybody's talking about Devin Haney still, and Ryan Garcia, and they're talking to Canelo and stuff like that. So, you know, I don't know what's going on, but it's not 2 hours. I mean, the card says, I mean, on ESPN, it says 10 p.m., but I don't see any live broadcasting of the show right now. Unless you guys tell me something different, I don't see anything on this fight right now. All right, but shout out to everyone that's here, man. What's up? Hakeem, the Viral Chronicles, Josh, Joe said it's true is here. Damon Wester is here. 8-0, what's good? What's good? What's good? Yeah, so listen, we here, man. You guys smash the like button, man. I don't know what's going on, but all I see is like UFC is all over ESPN app right now. Like they're not even, I had to really scroll to find the Lomachenko broadcast because they are pushing this UFC card tonight. I mean, heavy. You know, I don't know if they're paying extra to show the card, but I mean, I go on the UFC app, they're showing as soon as, I mean, I'm sorry, the ESPN app, Derek Lewis fight. I go on ESPN Plus, UFC. It's all over the place. So we'll get to it at 10 o'clock. You know, I'm not even focused on it. But you know, since we're here, all right, I did my breakdown this morning. All right, early this morning. I actually did it like 2 days ago. This is during the Knicks game the other night, a few nights ago. And I was recording it, and I want to say I was about 70%, 80% done with the breakdown. And my dad popped up. I knew my dad was coming. We was coming to chill to watch the Knicks game, and he cut me off. And then I was supposed to go back and do it, and I didn't end up doing so. It was a few days late. Sorry about that, but I did it this morning. And I'm picking Lomachenko, and I'm leaning towards decision. Now, I knew when I did the breakdown, I knew everybody was going to talk about the Devin Haney fight with Loma. And I expect most people. What's up, Damon Wester? What's good? I expect most people to roll with the knockout. I get it. You know what I mean? I know George Kambosos looked terrible in his last fight. I don't even think he won the fight. The sole reason why I'm leaning towards decision that I think is close, I think it's either going to be a late stoppage or a decision. The only reason why, because I did go back to watching the Teofimo Lopez fight. And even though George won the fight, Teo was landing some bombs. I mean, some really, really heavy shots early throughout the fight. And George took them well. I mean, he got dropped in one point in the fight, but he was able to take the punches. And I know Lomachenko is different. I know Loma is more of a pressure fighter. He works his best when you slow down. Also, Loma might go to the body a little bit more. I went to Loma against what was I watching today? I was at work. I was watching a little bit of Loma against who was I watching? I don't know which fight I was watching, but I was watching a little bit of Lomachenko earlier today. Because when I see so many comments and I'm saying like everybody's saying like Loma's gonna definitely stop him. He's gonna stop him in the seventh. I'm getting all these comments. He's gonna stop him in the seventh. He's gonna stop him in the third. It makes me think I'm tripping. It makes me think that I'm bugging out. Like, am I reading this wrong? Is Kambosos doesn't have a shot at all to go the distance with Lomachenko? And I'm going back and I'm watching some of the Loma highlights, and I'm like, okay, I can see in areas where Loma could stop him. Yes, he stopped Nakatani, but I mean, he went the distance with Comey, and I know that he could have probably stopped him in that fight, but he went the distance with Haney. He went the distance with Ortiz. He went the distance with Luke Campbell. You know what I mean? I just think at 36 years old, not being that active, I just think at this point, is he really got the killer instinct? And does he even have the ability at this stage in his life to finish a guy that we've barely seen hurt? You know, I don't think George is super, super talented. I don't. But I do think that he's durable. He's tough, just based off the Teofimo Lopez fight. The dude he's a tough dude, man. And I was watching it today and I was like, I don't think Loma's gonna stop this dude. I think he could based on just outworking him and then schooling him, but because I do think what I will say is that I do think that Lomachenko style wise is all wrong for George Kambosos. But at the same time, I do think George is a tough dude. And to take the amount of bombs and blows that he took from Teofimo Lopez in that fight, it makes me wonder, like, I don't know if Loma's going to stop this dude. Like, he's not that much of a finisher at 135. You know what I mean? And I don't know. I'm leaning towards Loma just winning unanimously. Um, Another thing that I didn't talk about in the breakdown, like I said earlier, if you're just checking in, I did a breakdown the other day, but I had to cut it off like 70, 80% done with the video. And I did actually make up more points in that original video. And one of the points that I made up was what did I bring up in that video that I didn't bring up in this one? Damn, I just lost my thought. I didn't talk deeply into Kambosos and the amount of shots he took against Teo. I did watch it today, and I remember Teo just landing some big right hands on Kambosos as early as the first round, several in the first round before the knockdown. And I was like, man, if he can take those shots, I think he can. I think he could go the distance with Loma. I just think, unlike the reason why I think that Loma has a shot and actually stopping him is because stylistically, I think Kambosos is actually an easier fight than Jermaine Ortiz, Devin Haney, and Teofimo Lopez. Those three specifically. And I actually think those other guys are big punches, including Devin Haney. You know what I mean? So that's the way I look at it for now. I think I'm leaning towards the decision. I think Loma can get it done, but he would have to do something different from what we normally seeing, you know. And being that he is older and being that he hasn't really been active like that, you know what I mean? I'm just not sure, you know. I think I can see Kambosos going the distance. Also, offensively, I don't think Kambosos is going to have that much. Offensively, I give the edge to Jermaine Ortiz, to Devin Haney, to Teofimo Lopez over George Kambosos. George is a good counterpuncher, like I said in a breakdown earlier this morning. But George, I just don't think he has the ammunition to go back and forth. Now, a lot of us, especially the gamblers out there, if you are going to throw the money, I see that there's a lot of people throwing money down on George because of the fact that Loma not being active, because of the fact that Loma is being 36, and because of the fact that the fight is all in Australia. And if the fight is somewhat close, even if you have it edged for Loma, people think that there's going to be a robbery out there. Why? Because we've seen them before. You know what I'm saying? A lot of people, especially out in Australia, we've seen Manny Pacquiao lose to Jeff Horn, even though that's another fight. I didn't think that was really a robbery. I thought it was a close fight that should have went to Pacquiao, in my opinion. That went to what's his name? Jeff Horn. You know. But shout out to everyone that's here, man. I see you guys here. All right, and let's go through. What's up, John Doe? What's good? Beth Annual, what's good with you? Word of the day is here. Rich Franklin is here. LC Trey P. Blitz Tactique. Catch You Slipping is here. Your mums is here. Shout out to you. Romeo, what's good with you? The Ripper Illuminati is here. The Illuminati is here. That's scary. But those are my points for the fight. Those are my points. I see somebody made a comment on my reaction video. Yo, did you guys check out the video? How do you guys feel? You know, I'm not much of an editor. You guys know that. I'm not an editor, but, you know, I took the time to edit that specific video. It's crazy because I did a video of all of my reactions for the top 10 fights or top 10 reactions that I thought. Now, let me get this straight. Let me make it clear. It took me a few hours to do that video. When I say a few hours, it took me time to just find the content, go through different lives that I had and try to find which was the craziest reactions for me, you know? And I think I did a good job. But just to let you know, there are undercard fights that I reacted crazy to that I didn't have the time to go through. I didn't have time to go to each live and watch my reactions to every single fight on each card. So what I did was, you know what I mean? Like I kind of just went to the main event of each fights that had like a crazy, you know, knockout or some kind of knockdown in the fight, and just pretty much just picked the 10 that I thought was the best. You know, I'm sure there's crazier reactions out there. There was a few guys that you guys mentioned some reactions that I didn't add to that video. But, you know, I think I got the majority of them in there. And even if you don't like the order, I did my best in putting it together in one day. You know, I know you guys after the Inoue fight with Neary the other day or last weekend, I know a lot of you wanted me, every time you see a crazy reaction, you guys want me to do a reaction video with all of the reactions. So I finally did it. You know, I actually did the video that shows, you know, all of the stuff that I have here. So I've been trying to give you guys the things that I promised on the channel. I hope you enjoyed the video. You know, I did the best that I could as far as editing and stuff. But it was fun doing it, and watching my own reactions is actually kind of funny because it's not acted out. It's just me just being crazy. Boxing is one of the few things that can get me to act that way, especially because I'm really like a low-key, chill, mellow type of dude. But I'm glad you guys enjoyed the video. And if you haven't seen the video yet, definitely give it a look. If you haven't looked at my reaction, my top 10 reaction video, I made sure that it wasn't too long and stuff like that. Yeah. All right. Ordinary says, no disrespect, bro. Didn't get the reference on your dad. What's notable, host or chat? No aggression. I don't understand what you mean. I don't understand. I'm sorry. Um, I'm not understanding what you're trying to ask. Kobe says, good job, bro. Thank you. Luminar says, Boxingwave, you're a diehard boxer fan. I can tell by your room, brother. Yeah. Trey says, hey, Wave, it's July 6th in Newark. The card is looking real fire. All right, so I'm not going to go to that card only because I paid to go see Shakur Stevenson last summer, and I took my dad to that card, and it was a great card. The fight against Yoshino, we had great seats. We were in the front. We was only a couple seats away from Bob Arum. We, Clarissa Shields was there. Rosie Perez was sitting behind us. I'm not going to go to another Newark card because we went last year. I might be going to the Jerron Ennis fight in Philly only because I've never been to Philly to see a fight. But I'm not gonna go to that Shakur card only because I just went to a Shakur card last summer and I want to go to something different. And in Philly is looking the card like the card that I got my eye on for now. All right, so I might go to that. If I go, I'll let you guys know. Again, if you guys see me outside, you guys don't have to act all weird. Like, I ran into someone recently that's a supporter of the channel, and he was looking at me for the longest. I was out eating by myself, and he was staring at me, and it made me feel comfortable. I'm like, does this guy know me from? I don't know what he knows me. I don't know if he know me from the channel. I don't know what he know me. When somebody's staring at me for a long time, it made me feel comfortable. And I was actually getting ready to go, and I had paid my bill, and he stopped me on the way out. And he's like, "Yo, I'm a big supporter of the channel." I was like, "Bro, why you need to say nothing? We could have just been sitting here chilling." I was eating, I had a drink, and I was like, yo, bro, why you ain't just say nothing to me? Like, I'm super approachable. Like, I'm not even like that kind of dude. And he's just looking at me. He's like, nah, I ain't want to be all weird. And, you know what I mean? And I'm like, it's all good. Like, I'm not even that type of dude. Like, I'm real cool. You know what I'm saying? It's no big deal. So should I say something? But yeah, if you ever see me at a fight or outside anywhere, just say what's up. Like, I'm super approachable. Like, I'm not aggressive. Like, I'm not even like that. So it's all good. Aquia was good. Aquia, shout out to Kuwait out there. Oh, you got tickets. Oh, you gonna be back. Oh, you gonna be back. All right. So I'll let you know if I end up going. I'll definitely let you know. I'll hit you up and let you know if I'm going. But I am definitely looking at it. Um, I'm probably gonna end up going. My sister is out here. I didn't talk to her yet, but I might end up hitting my sister up and seeing if she wants to go to a fight. But yeah, most likely I'm gonna end up going to that card. Yeah, Fury Usyk, man. Yo, man, I was thinking about it today because you guys are already starting to leave comments on the videos. Yo, I'm still like, all right, so I'm gonna tell y'all now since y'all here. I want to pick. I really want to pick Usyk. Like, I think Usyk got it, but I don't like picking against Tyson Fury. But I don't like picking against Usyk too. I've been wrong in both when it comes to the two. So I'm like, I see the pictures of Fury. He looks like he's in good shape. But there's been other fights where he looked like he was in good shape, or in the ring that night, he didn't look like he was in good shape. So I'm stuck, yo. I'm really stuck, because I think that Usyk has all of the tools to beat this guy. But I also think that Fury can land a big shot to the body and hurt him. You know what I mean? Um, it's very, very difficult to pick this fight. And I'm talking about without the political stuff, because the political stuff I'm afraid of, but I'm trying not to like overthink about that. You know why? Because like even tonight, you got George fighting Loma. You know, obviously George is fighting in Australia and all that. I'm trying not to think about that. I'm trying to just think of like the fight itself, you know, and just be fair. Because sometimes I pick wrong picks. Like I picked Canelo over Bivol just because I was thinking like I think Bivol could beat him, but I think if the fight is close enough that they will give it to Canelo. And I was wrong. Like Bivol, even though the George's the judges' scorecards was close than what I thought they should have been, they still gave it a Bivol. And I'm thinking about this Usyk thing, and I'm like, I'm listening to Turkey Al-Sheikh about all these other fights he want to make, and I'm thinking about Tyson Fury being a bigger star, you know what I mean, and how people want to see him fight Anthony Joshua. I'm thinking about that, and I'm like, well, if the fight goes to the scorecards and it's somewhat competitive, I'm leaning towards Tyson Fury getting the decision because of who he is. But I also feel like Usyk has the tools to beat him. And I'm a little bit like I'm gonna give you the breakdown Monday. I know for a fact Monday is gonna be the only day I'm gonna be able to do um that 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 breakdown. Oh, the Derek Lewis fight just started. Is this pay-per-view? This is not pay-per-view, is it? I'm gonna turn it on until the boxing match come on. Because I have the ESPN app up right now. So that's the way I'm looking at it. I already know. Oh, it did just start it. Okay. I already feel like I know what to say about each fighter. Like I know all their strengths. I did how many breakdowns I've done with y'all on Usyk? How many breakdowns I've done with y'all on Tyson Fury? I've seen all their fights at this point. It's just like, man, like, I could see ways where Fury can win the fight. I could see ways where Usyk could win the fight. I'm just like 100. I'm not 100% sure, but by Monday, I'll let you know. I'll let you know. Monday morning is when I'm planning on recording and giving a breakdown for that fight. I got tonight and tomorrow night to think about it. It's really not even about the breakdown. It's really I don't even need to really do that much film study. I know where to go. I know where I'm just trying to just come to a final decision on where we're going with this, you know. Mark, shout out to you. He asked, where do I see this fight going with Lomachenko? I think Lomachenko is gonna win. I just think I'm leaning towards the decision, man, more than the stoppage. I think the stoppage is very possible. But I'm leaning towards the decision, man. I think not because of Loma. I think Loma is I think he's definitely the superior fighter, even at this point in the stage. But I also think that George is tougher than the majority is giving him credit for. I seen him take some really big shots from Teofimo Lopez in their fight. And even though, I think Loma is levels above him skill wise, I also think that George is a tough dude. And I just can't see him getting stopped unless Loma does something completely different that we haven't seen. And maybe that involves him really attacking the body. If he hurts George continuously to the body, I could see where a stoppage may come. I'm not even thinking from headshots. I think George is going to be all right. To the body, if he goes to the body good enough, I think he can hurt George to the body. I am expecting a knockdown though, and I was looking at some of those bets in there and on the app, and I saw like knockdown options, like maybe a possibility of Loma winning more points, but making George take a knee at some point in this fight. Those are some other options too, but a lot of people are thinking about whether or not, if this goes to a decision, are they gonna give it to Loma? Are they gonna give it to George? You know what I mean? That's how people are really looking at it. And again, I'm trying not to look at it that way, but it's definitely a possibility, especially because of what we seen before in the past out in Australia. All right, round one done in the UFC fight. I just turned to it. So I don't know who won that round because I didn't watch the whole round. What's up, Junto? You say you're going Loma against Kambosos, Fury, Usyk over Fury. Yeah, I mean, listen, I think Usyk has the skills, but I also think Fury has the skills too. And it's like the thing about Tyson Fury is that his performances, the reason why I'm gonna tell you like this, and I'm gonna say this in a breakdown. The reason why I'm leaning towards Usyk is because his performances are more consistent. You know what I mean? Like he's had tough fights. It's not like he dominated every. I mean, Breedis, he didn't dominate. Breedis to me won the first half of the fight. He had the Derek Chisora fight. That was, in my opinion, closer to whatever the judges had it scored. But what I'm saying about Usyk is that he always delivers and he finishes better than everybody he's faced. Tony Bellew, he struggled against him, finished him off. Derek Chisora, I felt like Usyk did better in the second half. Breedis, though he did better in the second half. Mike Hunter did better in the second half. He's beating these guys. Once they start slowing down, Usyk is turning up. Even AJ in a rematch. AJ in a rematch was doing better in the first half for the most part. And then he turned up. Usyk turns up. Triple D, he turns up. I've not seen Usyk in one fight where the opponent beat him in the second half. And that's a big deal to me. Fury, on the other hand, inconsistency is all over the place. So that's why I'm thinking like I think Fury has the size, he has the skill set. If he has the jab, he's very unorthodox. He's shown that he can adjust to everybody he's faced up to this point. I didn't place any bets for tonight, by the way. And for anyone that's asking, no bets for tonight. I looked at it. No bets tonight. No bets tonight. Again, I don't always bet. But if I was a betting man, I would lean towards Loma winning a UD. I think Loma is just that good. Has Fury ever fought someone this small? Somebody answered with Steve Cunningham. Yeah, I guess Steve Cunningham is a fair comparison, being that Steve was a cruiserweight. But Usyk brings so much more than Steve. All right, but yeah, listen, I don't think Kambosos is a horrible bet to place in this fight because again, Loma is getting old and he can become older tonight. The fight is in. It's in. Oh, Derek is all over him, man. Derek is over. Usyk. I'm sorry, not Usyk. Lomachenko is getting older, and let's just say George is the version of Teofimo that we got. Let's say George is at his best tonight. Let's say George shows up tonight and doesn't look anything like he did against Maxie Hughes. If we get that version of George Kambosos, where he showed up and turned up against Teofimo Lopez, and he's motivated and he's at his best and he has some kind of game plan that's working. Let's just say he borrows a little bit from Haney, what Haney was doing, a little bit from what Jermaine Ortiz was doing, a little bit from what Teofimo was doing against Loma. If we take some of those fights and if George can prepare to get on at least match Loma to a certain extent. Derek Lewis was about to get stopped. He got his back. He got his back to Nascimento. We on UFC, but I'm about to turn to the fight in a minute. And just want to see if Derek's going to make it out of this second round. Got a minute left in that round before I go back to boxing. But yeah, yo, go for George, man. Listen, I'm not going to tell y'all what to do with your money. You know, I wouldn't quite say I believe that George is a real live dog, because remember, I'm telling y'all that if the version that showed up to Teofimo Lopez fight shows up tonight, he might have a shot. But I'm also going to tell you that Loma don't fight like a wild man like Teofimo did in that fight. I was watching some of the highlights of that fight this morning, and I'm like, Loma would never fight like this guy. You know, this guy was clearly trying to get a quick knockout, and it didn't really work out for him. Yeah, so that's the way I'm looking at it. I just think Loma is just, I honestly think Loma is not only levels above George on his best day, but I'm also going to tell you that stylistically, I just think he has too much of an advantage here. You know what I mean? The experience, being that Loma is a southpaw. Teal just fought us. I mean, not Teal, but George fought a southpaw in his last fight, in a fight that I don't believe he won. And not only did he don't I think he won the fight, but Loma's so much better than Maxie Hughes to me. And Maxie and his timing and his legs and being able to step, he was able to step around and time George so easily. It just made me feel like Loma can do this and much more. And this is why I didn't really want to put any money down the fight, because I'm so confident that Loma wins the fight. You know, I just think that Haney and Teofimo Lopez were all much more difficult than what George can be, in my opinion, even against a 36-year-old Lomachenko. Just my opinion. And I also am expecting Lomachenko to start out faster in this fight than he normally does. You know, I think he needs something to prove. He is coming off of a loss. Very controversial one, but he is coming off a loss. And one thing I know about Lomachenko is that when he comes off a loss, if you look at the history, Orlando Salido lost. He went in there with Gary Russell Jr., undefeated. And that was, to this day, one of the best performances in his career. All right, lost to Teofimo Lopez. What he go and do? Nakatani destroyed him. All right, Nakatani did good against Teo, but he went in there and destroyed Nakatani. All right, he lost to Devin Haney in his last fight. Very controversial. Oh, Derek got him down. Derek got hurt. Oh, he might stop this dude. Oh, he hit him up crazy. Stop it. It's over. It's over. It's over. It's over. Stopped him with punches. Caught him with a big shot. Went down. All right, let me turn to boxing. All right, we on boxing. But anyway, I got Loma. I got Loma winning, man. I'm gonna go with Loma, man. I know George shouldn't be you can't sleep on him, but I think Loma has something to prove. This is his last shot. I think he should be more motivated now than ever, because the time is now. The time is now. He got to get it done now. He had no more time left. He already missed out on the undisputed opportunity. So if he doesn't get it done tonight, it's over, bro. It's over. I know George don't want to lose at home, but he's already lost at home. He already lost at home. And I'm still unsure how good is he really? If we're looking at him outside of the Teofimo terrible performance, how good is he? I don't know. What am I basing it on? What, the Lee Selby win? Am I basing it on the 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 Maxie Hughes win? The Lee Selby win? What fight am I basing it on? Based on what? How did we look at George before he fought Teofimo Lopez? Damn, Derek took his pants off. Yeah, I turned the channel. I'm glad I turned the channel. Because I ain't trying to see all that. I ain't trying to see Derek Lewis taking off his pants. I'm good. So I turned the channel right away. I ain't want to see no nonsense. You know, Kobe says Loma's also fighting a guy his size, and he used to fight in bigger guys. Yes. I brought that up in the breakdown as well. Vitalaj asked, when is the fight? Well, the official walkout time was 11 o'clock p.m., which is an hour from now. So, I'm thinking, I don't know. I can't tell you for sure. All right, but should be soon, man. This should be soon. All right. All right. What else is going on? In the sport of boxing? We got the big undisputed heavyweight fight next week. Jai Opatai is going to be fighting Morris Brias in a rematch. And I got Jai winning, man. What's good, young Hollywood? Yo, I got Jai winning a fight again because even though that last fight was crazy, the first fight was crazy. The way I look at it is Jai still won. He fought with a broken jaw and was still able to finish the fight. But not only that, but Jai Opatai was he's been active. He's been beating people up since that win. He's only getting better. And Bridas has not been in the ring since that loss. That fight was almost 2 years ago, bro. He's what? He's got to be like 38 years old at this point. Let me look him up. I got Jai winning it. Bridas is legit. He's good, but he's 39 years old, bro. Nah, I got Jai winning. That's going to be on the undercard of Fury and Usyk. I got Jai winning. I don't know if he's getting a stoppage or anything like that. I have no idea, but I got Jai winning the fight. That's going to be on the undercard. You got Frank Sanchez against Ajik Caballero. That is a very, very good fight. I'm leaning towards Frank winning a decision. That's where I'm leaning. That's where I'm at with it right now. Yo, Tim Zoo. Oh, hold on. Philly Trees says Philly Trees, you going to the Jerron Ennis fight? You from Philly, so you going to the Ennis fight? Let me know. Aquia says she going. She going. Who else is going to that fight? Ruiz against Miller. I've been watching Miller on Instagram. He look like he's getting in shape, man. Been saying for years he need to get in shape. He look like he getting in shape. Yeah, I think I'm gonna go to that fight, man. I'm probably gonna end up going. Miller get in shape, man. If Miller can cut the weight, man, get around at least 300 or 290, he got a shot. All right. And Andy Ruiz need to get in shape too. Not for nothing. I'll keep talking about Gerald Miller, but Andy Ruiz need to get back in shape. It's hard to call. Again, I'm a promise you this. I'm not giving y'all a breakdown until after the weigh-in. So when it comes to Gerald Miller and Andy Ruiz, catch me after the weigh-in. Everything else on that card, I'll give you before the weigh-in. I'm not giving you no breakdown until after the weigh-in, bro. I want to see how these dudes show up at the weigh-in. Now that will help me figure out who's winning that fight. Because I don't trust either one of them two. Them two, they've had big moments and they fumbled multiple times. So now I'm good. I'm not even. What's up, nerd? I'm not even trying to give you an answer on that right now. I'm gonna tell y'all after the weigh-in. If Jared Miller come in shape and Andy doesn't, I'm leaning towards Jared Miller. If Andy come in shape and Gerald Miller come in shape, I'm leaning towards Andy Ruiz. If if they both out of shape, I'm going for Andy Ruiz. So if it's equal, whether they're both big and out of shape or they both in shape, I'm leaning towards Andy Ruiz. But if Jared Miller come in shape, I can see Jared Miller win a fight. That's how I'm looking at it. Yeah, I'll be watching some of the Olympic fights this year. I watch as much boxing as I can when I have some downtime. Even if I don't go live or anything like that, I try to watch as much as I can. All right. Uh, Andrew Maloney is about to fight. All right, that's about to fight. I mean, that's about to start. Of course, we know that Jason had just lost. His brother lost last week. He lost the title last week. Jared Anderson. I would love to see Frank Sanchez against Jared Anderson. I want to see Jared Anderson against somebody solid. But his very next fight might end up being Deontay Wilder. And to be honest, that fight can happen either way. Wilder can win and fight Jared Anderson, and he can lose against Zhilei Zhang and get the Anderson fight anyway. It looks like win or lose, he might end up getting the fight. He might get the fight. All right, but tune in. ESPN got the fight up. What else is going on? What else going on in the sport of boxing? Right, Usyk Fury, we already talked about that. Let's talk a little bit. I feel like no one really cares about Taylor and Catterall too. I think it just happened a little too late for people to really care like that. What's up, Pepino? Yeah, I mean, I really don't know how to pick that fight because Josh did finish strong in their first fight, but Josh has lost to T.O. since then. I don't think Josh should still be fighting at 140. And even if he's a little better, how much better can he be at this point? Mentally, physically, I don't know. I don't even know how to call that one. I might even lean towards Jack to win the rematch. Feel me? All right, we got the first fight. Well, I don't even know if this is the first fight at this point. I don't know the schedule on this card here. I don't know. So Andrew Maloney is fighting Pedro Guerrera here. Is this fight for any kind of card or something like that? Is this for the WBC Interim World Superfly title? Okay, so this is at 115. This is one division below the brother of Andrew, Jason. And it's for an interim strap. All right. I'm not familiar with Pedro Guerrero. I see that he lost a split decision to Carlos Carjas. Did I watch that fight? I might have watched the highlights to it. All right, but he did lose to Kenshiro Taraji. All right, so he's been in there with people. Guerrero, I'm not that familiar with, but if he has a split decision loss to Carlos Cuadras and a split or in a majority decision loss to Kenshiro Taraji, he's legit. That's all I got to say about that. Damn, Derek Lewis Moon. Are y'all talking about that? I turned it off. I switched the channel before that went down. So I ain't see it. Pause. I'm glad I didn't see it. Now, don't say that, Philly. I don't think it's dead. I think it's dead right now because it's not happening, but I don't think it's dead when the week of the fight. I don't think it's dead. I think people lost a little bit because of the injury, and that happens sometimes. But when it gets close, when we get close, when we get a couple weeks out, people get excited for it. Yeah, I don't think so. I think ESPN and Top Rank was supposed to televise because I did check this morning when I did the breakdown, and I saw that the broadcast was supposed to start at 8 p.m. Eastern, and for whatever reason, I guess they didn't have it available, and now they start at 10 p.m. So I don't know, but you know what? This is where we're at. Um, I don't know how many other fights are going to show on this card, but this is where we're at right now. Hopefully we don't have to wait too late. I mean, it's already past 10. I'm expecting this fight to go to this decision here. And yeah, I mean, neither one of these guys are big punchers, so all right. I ain't lose all interest in the fight. I still want to see it. I think it's still a fight that needs to happen. You know, I think it's a fight that needs to happen. I don't want to see any other fight. I want 75 more. I know Benavidez just moved up, but I don't care. I want to see Benavidez fight who he's fighting, and I also want to see Dave Morrell fight who he's fighting as well. I want to see Benavidez against Vosdick, and I want to see Morrell against Kalajic. I'm good with those fights. For first fights at like introduction fights at the division, those are solid to me. I'm good with that. Benavidez is now fighting someone that he ain't that much bigger than. You know what I mean? He's now fighting someone that's his actual size, that is more skilled to him. Yeah, I think this is, even though Vosdick is older than Plant was and Andre was, I think Vosdick is still a tougher fight. And I think Kalajic is by far the best fighter that Dave Morrell had fought up to this point. So I'm good with those two fights. You know what I mean? If they win, if they both win their fights, then let them fight each other, or let one of them fight the winner of of Bivol and Better BF. But that's the way I'm looking at it right now. Do I think we're getting Canelo and Benavidez? Nah. You know what? Let me not say nah, but it's not gonna happen at 175. It's not gonna happen at 175. Benavidez is gonna have to go back down to 168. If the money is there, let's say Turkey Al Sheikh says, "All right, Canelo, I'm gonna pay you whatever the hell you want. I'm gonna give you a million. I'm gonna give you $1 billion to fight David Benavidez." Benavidez is gonna have to agree to come down to 168, and I'm at that point. I'm gonna lose a little interest in the fight, but it could happen. But I'm not expecting it to. So Smooth Will. You hope Gvozdik loses to Benavidez because of Stevenson. I don't want to say that. I don't think. You know what? I would agree with you if Vosik was doing something dirty. to win. You know, Usyk just fought his fight. I think what happened to Adonis Stevenson, he stayed in the game for a little too long. You know, I don't think there was any foul play. I mean, the dude was just fighting his fight. You know, I mean, um, what's his name? Adonis Stevenson just stayed in the fight for too long, the game in too long, and you know, he was still a champion at the time. He just lost the fight. It is what it is. You know, hit that thumbs up, by the way, everybody. If you are here, all right. If you can just smash the like button for me. All right, support the channel. You know, just hit the thumbs up. Let's get these likes up. Let's get to over 100 likes real quick. Let's get there, man. What's up, mom, bro? What's good with you, man? I don't feel different about Naoya in a way. You know, like, look, this is the way boxing works, and I've been saying this since the Ryan Garcia fight, and I've said this before, even prior to that, but since Ryan and Devin Haney fight, look, fans, the majority, 95% of boxing fans are going to feel differently about every fighter with each fight. Naoya Inoue got dropped by Louis Neri. Now, obviously, I did the live. I did the reaction video. I'm reading all these comments about that fight. And everybody, especially the Inoue fans, are giving him so much praise for getting back up on his feet and finishing the fight, which is the right thing to do. It's the right thing to do. But if Crawford gets dropped in his next fight, he's going to get criticized for it. Why? Because there's a pound for pound battle that's going on social media between those two. The rules always change depending on who it is. I think Naoya Inoue getting dropped by Neri is not a big deal because at the end of the day, he still won the fight. He took care of business. But I'm like that with everyone. But I can tell you that if it were to happen to the next fighter, they're going to get slandered. Oh, he barely won. He's overrated. No one said that about Inoue. I don't not say no one. There were some people online saying that. I don't think that's the right thing to say because Inoue got up and he won every other round. You know, it's no different. Floyd didn't go down, but when Floyd got caught with a good shot with Shane Mosley and he had to hold on for dear life, it didn't change how I felt about Floyd. This guy, he got caught with a good shot. That's what happened with Inoue. It happens, man. It's part of the sport. You get caught with a good shot. Crawford got caught by what's this guy name? The Eastern European fighter. You know, guys get caught with a good shot. It's not a big deal. The only thing is he was down and he was hurt. So I was a little bit scary about how that was going to work out at the moment. You guys were here. I was a little scared about how this fight was going to play out because Neri caught him good and it didn't look like Inoue was a recovery. You know, Kavalaskis, yeah. It's like when he got caught by the Filipino Flash, he got caught and it ended up just being a good fight. He landed some big shots. And, you know, he ended up winning and ended up being one of the best fights of the year. But that's what makes me enjoy it. I don't go straight to criticizing a guy because he got caught with a good shot. But boxing fans today, it's like depending on who it is, oh, this guy caught him with a good shot. Oh, he's washed up. Oh, he's overrated because he got caught with this good shot. No, he got caught by a good shot with a good puncher. Neary did not have a moment like that when he fought Brandon Figueroa. You know, Neary was doing well, but Brandon was actually just waiting for the right opportunity for this guy to burn himself out, and then he just went through him without having to get knocked down, without having to get hurt. You know what I mean? But it just, again, if boxing fans were all on the same page without showing extreme bias, everybody would be good, but it'll never be that way. You got the amount of tribalism that we have in this sport is going to make it where people are going to move the goalposts depending on who the fighter is and where they're from or what they look like. So when Inoue got caught with the shot, it didn't really bother me. It was just like, yo, we were here. You guys were here with me. I was shocked, but I was afraid. I was afraid for Inoue because I know exactly what this means. In my mind, while I was watching it with you guys, I said, oh God, they're going to say he's overrated. If he loses, they're going to erase everything he's accomplished his whole career. Him being a 4-division champion, him being a 2-division undisputed champion, it's going to go out the window because he might have taken a loss to. And I don't want that from any top tier fighter. Now, if it happens and we get an upset, it's part of the game. But I'm consistent. I didn't want Inoue to lose this fight. But I was scared for him because I know how people, if he is to take the loss, because again, upsets need to happen. But if he takes the loss, they're going to destroy him on social media. They're going to destroy him. They're going to erase all his accomplishments off this one loss. And that's not fair. That's not right. You know, and I don't want that for no one. And he's from Japan. I'm a black man from America. And I'm telling you this. I don't want him to lose because if he gets knocked out, they're going to just destroy this guy like he never did nothing his whole career. They're going to say he's overrated all this time. Was he overrated when he beat Stephen Fulton? No, he didn't. He wasn't overrated in that fight. He styled on Fulton. But he fought Neary and got knocked down. You know? So, I mean, it is what it is, man. We have to be consistent. Guys get caught with a good shot from time to time. It is what it is, man. The very best lose, took L's. You know, they took L's. You know what I mean? It's all good. You got knocked down, you got dropped, you got gift wins. All of them, all the greats have it. Floyd have gift wins. Pacquiao got gift wins. Canelo got gift wins. You know what I mean? It is what it is. There are asterisks to some of these guys' performances. You know, there were catch weights, rehydration clauses, all of that bullshit. It is what it is. You know, failed drug tests even. But I don't. We can discuss those things, and it's fair to discuss it. But people are not consistent, and that's what pissed me off about this whole Ryan Garcia. I have never seen the amount of support for a guy that not only came overweight, but failed the drug tests. You know, and I know we're waiting for the B samples, all of that, but I have never seen, and I was here when Canelo, you know, with the tainted meat situation. I was here for that. I was here when Povetkin and the Meldonium, or I think it was Meldonium, right? I was here for that. I remember making content on those days. I was here for all that. And I remember people defending Povetkin. I remember people were defending Canelo. But the Ryan Garcia thing is, I've never seen that before. Not on that level. I never seen it before. I never seen it before. People fail drug tests on a regular. Gerald Miller, Dillian White. You know, some guys that are not even with big names fail drug tests all the time. People just write them off completely. I've never seen people, and I didn't even want to talk about it no more. I didn't even want to talk about it no more. I made one video responding to the lack of integrity in the boxing community, and I didn't talk about it no more because it's a headache. Because I'm not the majority at this point. Someone failed a drug test, and for once, most people were defending the cheater. And I bowed out. I said, I can't do this no more because I'm being consistent and the majority is not being consistent. So now I have to bow out and say, you know what? This ain't for me. I made one video on it and I let it go. And I'm not making no more content. I mean, I'm talking about it now because you guys are here, but I've never seen that on that level before, ever, ever. I mean, this guy is still going on a run with all these celebrities. Like the amount of respect he's getting for winning that fight under those circumstances are crazy to me, man. That's crazy. No, they're not Ryan Garcia fans. They just hate Devin Haney that much. They're not Ryan Garcia fans. So I want to say shout out to the people that's been consistent. If you're a boxing fan or if you do media, shout out to you if you was consistent in this fight with every other fight. Every other fighter that's tested dirty. You know what I mean? But it's kind of crazy, man. And look, there are a lot of some of my favorite fighters failed drug tests before. There's a lot of people, I've said this before. There are people that failed drug tests and I was mad. But I got over it, you know? You fell, you popped, okay. That's a stain on your legacy. But you bounced back, you did what you had to do. It is what it is. We didn't get any more failed drug tests. It is what it is. You know, now when you fought and failed multiple drug tests like Dillian White did, you know, or Jared Miller did, if you're that guy that failed multiple drug tests and throughout your career, I kind of lose respect for you overall. I'm a big I like Dillian White. I like him. I like him a lot. I've been covering him the entire time on this channel. I was covering when him, Joseph Parker, and Anthony Joshua were the future of the heavyweight division. I remember making content on those three specifically. And I liked him. I followed him his whole career. But multiple ones, it's like, I don't know, B. I can't. How long am I going to defend you? You know, you got this weird license out here in Texas. You know, you're a UK guy. How many times I can't really defend you, you know? Yeah, shout out to you guys. But yeah, I just want to stay consistent. That's all. Whether I like you or not, it hurts. You know, it hurted me when John Jones, you know, tested positive for drugs. It hurt me because I know you're the greatest. I believe you're the greatest. But if someone is to say to me, well, he failed this, so I don't know. I don't have him at number one. I have him at number two, or I have him at number three. How far am I going to go arguing with you and debating with you on that? I'm not. If that's how you feel, that's how you feel. That's how you feel. But what I will notice is that boxing fans like to point out specific people. There are people that I follow. There are media guys that I follow. There are people that are content creators that I follow that specifically targets boxers, but they don't keep it across the board. And that's my problem. And this is why I don't follow too many people. You know what I mean? I don't listen to too many people on here anymore. You know, and I've been that way for a while, but that's why I don't be on the Twitter too much. I might be on there. One day you might see me tweeting, but then you might not see me for a few days. Why? Because everybody's not fair. Everybody's not fair. People like to target specific fighters because of the tribalism. I saw somebody leave a comment asking me about the LDBC. This is the thing with LDBC. They are a black group of boxing content creators that are super pro PBC for the most part. I don't even say black. I want to say PBC, right? We can all agree with that, right? There are other content creators that have that same kind of bias, but not towards black fighters. That no one ever talks about them. No one ever brings them up. People make it seem like only black boxing content creators are the extreme bias ones, which is not true. It's not true. Only black boxing fans, if you're always pointing out the black fighter or the black boxing fans when they're being biased, then you're part of the problem. Because, like I said in the video I did not too long ago, Lomachenko got fanboys. Canelo got fanboys. Ryan Garcia got fanboys. All right. There are Niall Inoue got fanboys. You know how many times I received racist comments from people that I don't even respond. I get them, but it is what it is. Like I make content, so anyone can go in here with a ghost account and say what they want and be disrespectful. I expect that. But the thing with the LDBC is people made it seem like they were the only problem with this boxing community. They made it seem like they're the worst part because they're black content creators that get a lot of views. They got a lot of subscribers. Some of their channels, they got a lot of subscribers. They get a lot of views. So people attack them. But there are other channels that are specific channels that did the same thing. They support only European fighters or only Hispanic fighters, but no one says anything about them. They get a pass. Why? Because they're not PBC. PBC is not the only, it's not the only problem in the sport. PBC is not the only problem in the sport. You know? But when PBC was a problem and when PBC was not giving us the quality of fights that they deserve, when they were protecting certain fighters, I did my job in bringing it up. But I also did my job whenever we got a bad fight on Matchroom or Queensberry or Boxer or Top Rank or Golden Boy. We keep it consistent here. I can't speak for everybody else, but at least here we keep it consistent. But I've been to other channels and it might have not been a channel, but I've seen other channels that had guests that said some really horrible things and they never checked them on it. And it made me like, oh, wow. Okay. So, okay. You feel this way towards certain people, you know? D Genesis says name them. Nah, it's not my job to name them because I'm not a YouTuber that's about I don't make content on what other content creators make. I'm here for me. I'm here for Boxingwave. I am not here for the LDBC or any other community. I'm here solo. I came here alone. I'm going to leave here alone. I don't make content on other content creators. That's their business. They have their following. I have mine. The only time I bring up other channels is when I'm showing support. I am not an exposing channel. I am not trying to expose anybody. That's none of my business. If they have a following, they're following. Everybody knows when someone's being biased. If that's what you want to listen to, then that's on you. It's not my job to sit here and just expose you. There are a million channels out here that is here to expose other channels. I'm not one of them. I'm not, and I've never been. When have I been that? I've never been a channel that's like, yo, this guy's making trash content. He said this. I don't agree with him, so I'm gonna expose him. I've never done that. So if I ever bring up another channel on here, it's to show love. Yo, check this guy out. Yo, I was watching Boxing Beats and Rhymes. He made a great video on this. Or I was watching Rainguard Q. He made a video on this. Like, I support who I support. And that's it. If they making some whack shit, I don't even watch them no more. I don't even want to talk about them. I don't watch them and I will never talk about them. You know, that's the way I look at it. You have channels that are actually here on YouTube exposing channels every day, and they have their own following, but they don't make content for themselves. Every time they make a video, they dissing another channel. That's not my channel. That's not me. Yeah, no, hybrid. They have channels that actually debate each other on their favorite fighters, and that's good. That's good. I'm not here for other channels though. I'm not here to consistently engage with other people that have content. Like, it's just not my thing. I'm here to give you guys my views on how I feel about a sport. And that's it. So shout out to everybody that I just mentioned. Shout out to, everybody. I'm cool with some of the channels with the LDBC, especially Black. That's my guy. I don't support all of them, but I don't have no problems with them. You know what I mean? I have no problems with no one on YouTube. Whatever it is you guys do, that's their business. If I don't like it, I don't support it. I don't watch it. I don't give them a shout out. I don't do nothing. That's it. I ain't people be coming here always asking me about how I feel about other people. Like, man, I came on here on YouTube and just made a video just talking about a fight because I love the sport. That's it. I did a prediction video, and that's how I started. I ain't even know none of these channels. I swear to God, I never followed a YouTube channel on YouTube before I made content. Well, after I started making content, then I started learning that there were other channels out there. And I started to follow some of them because some of them were coming to my video and leaving comments like, yo, you make good videos, shout, I've been watching. And then I found out that they had content. But I was here long enough to see that only the majority of I was here when most of the heavy top the YouTube channels that are out now only had like 1K followers, subscribers, 1 or 2K. All of them were small. Thank you, Raul. Appreciate that. I have no problems with Inoue being pound for pound #1. Yo, this pound for pound thing has been an ongoing thing for so long. If you have Inoue at #1, I'm cool. If you have Crawford at #1, if you have Better BF at #1, because I'll be seeing those too. If you have Usyk as #1, whatever you got, it's your pound for pound list. There is no specific standard across the board when it comes to pound for pound. If you have pound for pound based on who your favorite fighters are, that's cool. That is your list. If you have a certain criteria based on titles, based on wins, based on the amount of the fighter fights, that is your criteria. That's cool. That is your list. Okay. Um, if you have pound for pound based on how you see, based on the eye test, who you believe is the best in the world, then that's on you too. It's that simple. I am not gonna ever argue with you about, oh, yo, how's that possible? I've seen some wild and wacky pound for pound lists on social media in my day. Last thing I'm trying to do is get online and start arguing with a bunch of strangers about how you feel about who you think is the best. That's crazy. You know, I'm not doing that. You know, yeah, those guys, those are all good channels, Cody. Again, I'm gonna show love to people that I support. I've been following Counterpunch for a minute. He's dope. Hat Man, been following him for a long time. Boxing Square, I follow. I think I follow still. Ade is phenomenal. You know, he's an actual um commentator now. So shout out to all those channels, you know. Shout out to all those guys. Thank you, Young Hollywood. Thank you. Yeah, all of those guys are good. Punch Perfect. Yeah, somebody mentioned Punch Perfect. Yeah, he's a dope channel, man. He gives great analysis on a fight, great breakdowns on a fight. Um, you know, shout out to him, man. He's been doing it for a minute too. You know, I've done content with him. He's great. I didn't watch any of the fights because this Maloney fight is the only fight that's been televised here on ESPN. This is the first fight that's actually been televised. So I don't know. Shout out to my dad. My dad is actually home watching the fight himself. He just sent me a picture of him watching the fight. So shout out my dad. He's probably listening right now. Um, yeah, Punch Perfect is a great channel. I have Loma by decision. Yeah, I think I'm gonna go with that, man. I think I'm sticking to that. The YB channel, I'm not familiar with. I'm I yo, I rock with channels that give me quality content. I do not care whether they're black or not. If you give me quality content and you know what you're talking about, that's all I care for. That's it. That's all I care about. I don't want to hear about no gossip. Sometimes I do want to hear gossip. Sometimes there are some channels that are just funny. Like they just good at being disrespectful. So sometimes, depending on the video, I might be in a mood to listen to that. But the majority of the content I want to listen to needs to be informative. For me, that's for me. I can't say that most of the YouTube channels do that. Most of the content I need needs to be informative. I want to get something out of this content. I want to learn. I want to listen and feel like, yo, this guy is on point. You know, this guy is on point. This is great content here. You know, these are points that I didn't think of. You know, like, or at least they maybe not, you know, what I thought of, but maybe they're making up points where I'm like, yeah, now he's really on point. This is what I was saying. You know, Rummy's Corner is a excellent channel. Excellent channel. Um, you know, I don't watch no one all the time, but Rummy's Corner has made videos, older videos that has made me tune in. You know, when it comes to like some of the history, you know, the heavyweight, like one of my favorite videos that he has a video where he's talking about the order of heavyweight undisputed champions that he made years ago that I probably watched like 3 times because it was such a good video that is just like he just bringing it back to the time where I was a kid and did not understand what what was happening with undisputed. You know what I mean? Like when I was a kid watching these fights live, I had no idea what it meant to fight for the WBA title or the WBC title. I didn't know. I just think I'm just watching the fights. I didn't understand what unification really meant or anything like that. I'm just watching it for pure entertainment. So to hear someone break down the order of when someone was undisputed is pretty dope. So I loved Rummy is an excellent channel on here. I haven't listened to BDA that much. I've seen some of his videos, but I haven't watched many videos of his. I've watched some of his videos though. But some of the stuff that I've heard, he does have some good stuff. You know. But listen, to each his own. Some people are good. Like I think Rink IQ is he's good for breaking down news. He covers the woman, and he's good at talking about like the purses and the promoters and stuff like that, and the conflicts between the promoters and the networks and stuff. I think he's good at that thing because he does it. He's consistent. I'll talk about it sometimes, but I don't want to drag it. But I think Ring IQ is good at that thing. He makes a video about a specific topic that that I'm following a little bit. I think he's on point when it comes to that. You know what I mean? No, I don't hate showbiz at all. That's not true. I've been following showbiz for years. I don't agree with any channel all the time. Let me make that clear. There's no channel that I listen to that I always agree with them. I can still listen to them though, you know, especially if they can bring up points that, there's channels where I didn't necessarily agree, but they brought certain arguments that I thought were cool. All right. But yeah. I don't yeah. We're in the 10th round, by the way, with this Maloney fight again. I don't know if the main event is going to be next. I mean, it's getting kind of late. It's almost close to 11. I remember the ring walk time. The ring walk time was scheduled to be for 11. But again, ESPN has not broadcasted in some of the other card fights. So I don't know why they did that like that. I don't know. It's because of the UFC card. I have no idea. You know. They said when I'm gonna have the channel playoffs. Um, did I do that? Are you sure it was me? I don't remember having a channel playoffs. I might have made content before discussing some of the other channels. But I never like dedicated too much content on other channels before. I know there was another channel, I forgot his name, who did like a voting thing every single week for different channels at the end of the year to see who was the best channel in the year. I think was it War Week Radio, maybe. I don't know. But it was a channel that did votings for every major channel. I was a part of it. Um, Shout out to you guys. There was a lot of people that voted for me, but I think there was a round when they had me against Showbiz, and I was not gonna win that round. I think I was in a round with Showbiz and like Counterpunch at the same time, and I was like, "Yeah, it's a tough round." They should put me in another like category, so I can move up the rankings a little quicker, But shout out to the people that still voted and supported me because my percentage was still pretty high, even though I was going up against like two much bigger channels than mine. Showbiz and Counterpunch are two of the biggest channels, as far as subscribers. So, you putting me in the same category, tier as Showbiz and like a Counterpunch or whoever they had me with, Blue But or one another. It was like two big monster channels. And I know a lot of people look at me as a big channel, but those are like the extreme top tier as far as subscribers, especially Showbiz. He's like, outside of media, he probably has the biggest American channel in boxing right now, by far. Him and Blue Bud are like up there. I don't know what they're at now, but I know, like, I still have like a good amount of supporters, and I do get very good views on certain videos and stuff like that. But yeah, they put me in a voting system with like Biz and like Counterpunch or something like that. I'm like, bro, I'm not making it to the next round. Or maybe it wasn't Boxing Eagle. Boxing Eagle was one of the channels, I think. Maybe I don't know. I can't remember, but they put me in the same tier. And I was like, man, but I was still also like reading the comments. And there was a lot of people that was supporting my shit. And I was like, yo, you know what? Seeing that made me happy, because there was a lot of people that were like, yo, Boxingwave is super underrated. Like, he should be, you know what I mean? Like, and I appreciate you guys for even saying that, because having monster channels like that and seeing people still saying in the comments like, yo, he's the best out of these group, that still made me feel good. It still made me really, really, really feel good. So I appreciate you guys for even voting for me, or even just even passing a word. Like, I've done like Google searches of my channel before, just out of curiosity. And I've seen people in different groups and different forums just shouting me out like, yo, check out this channel. So I appreciate that. I'm not on Facebook, but I've seen Facebook threads with me involved in it. And I'm like, I didn't even know that people were talking about me in a different space like that, because I don't do too much outside of, YouTube. You know what I mean? So I think that's pretty dope. You know? Thank you, Rich. I appreciate that. Yeah, so I appreciate all of that. Um, but yeah, I'm only here to support other people. And if if I really have a problem with another channel, and listen, shit ain't all sweet. I've had channels diss me. I've seen other channels bring me up. I've seen other channels diss me, and they wanted a reaction from me. Some of the channels are not even on YouTube anymore. Some of them disappeared, and they wanted me to react to them, and I didn't, because they weren't good. I didn't respect them enough to really react and go back and forth with them, because I didn't respect them. I thought they would just, even the things like they said about me, I was just like, that's not good enough. I'm not gonna get in the back and forth. I think the only channel that I've ever really responded directly, that dissed me directly, I've responded, and I've talked about other channels based on content that they made, but I've never like directly responded to anyone. I think the only channel I've responded to was Black Fight Fan, when he made a diss video about me. But we're actually friends now. But I think that's the only channel that I've ever responded to directly. Some of you guys were here for that. But outside of him, I have never. Some other channels have dissed me, and I was just like, this shit is whack. Like, they're not even saying nothing good. It is what it is. If I give you my opinion, and you gotta understand, if I give you my opinion, it might not be popular. It might not be an opinion you agree with or you like. Just know that I'm saying it because I really believe it. I'm not. I have been called all kind of names with because people felt like I should have picked a specific fighter based on how they look. You know what I mean? If you know what I'm saying. And I've have me being a Black American fight fan, I've had Black fans that hated my choice in a fight. But I've had people that are not Black hate me too because I didn't pick the non-Black fighter to win. You know what I mean? It happens all of the time. It happens all the time. And that just goes to show you it's because I try my best not to be biased. I'm going to tell you who I think is going to win. And I'm also going to tell you who I think won a close fight based on what I see. Now, I can't be 100% non-biased. That's impossible. Because I'm still at the fan. You got to understand, even though I've been doing analysis on boxing for over 10 years now, I'm still just a fan of the sport. You know what I mean? I'm still a boxing fan. There are times where I don't go live, but I'm watching the fight. Because sometimes I just want to watch the fight and enjoy the fight with no distractions. This fight is coming to a close. These guys are banging out, trying to finish this last 12th round here. All right. And hopefully we get the main event next. Thank you, Damon. I appreciate that, man. The Moloney fight just ended. I'll let you guys know what the scorecard is as soon as they give the scorecards. All right. Monroe just made a comment. I don't know how the fight is going to go, but I did spend a little time, just a little bit, watching a little bit of Frank Martin study when the fight was announced and they had their break the press conference the other day, right? I believe it was on the same day as Canelo and Munguia last week, so it was a week ago. So I had some downtime and I was looking up some old Frank Martin fights, and I was looking a bit at his last fight. And I was also looking at some of these other fights. And to be honest, I'm not saying I'm picking Frank to win. I'm not saying that at all. But I also feel like Frank does bring some strengths that I'm not used to seeing in fighters that's against Tank Davis. You know, I think Frank brings he has great legs. He's very athletic. He's a very, very disciplined fighter. All right. Always in the gym, always in shape. And when I look at Tank and I look at his opponents, you had Ryan, you got Hector, Oli Romero, Isaac Cruz, Mario Barrios, Leo Santa Cruz, Yuriocas Gamboa. Now, a younger prime Gamboa. Now, when I say prime, I don't mean like Terence Crawford prime, undefeated Terence Crawford prime. I'm talking about Gamboa in the smaller divisions down at 126 Gamboa. Outside of him, I don't see anyone there that's like Frank Martin. Frank Martin's a southpaw. So is Hector, but Frank Martin is a guy that's extremely athletic, right? And he's able to do some of those little things that Loma do. Don't have the boxing, please. I know when you bring up Loma's name, people go crazy. He don't fight like Loma, but he does have some of the things that I see Loma do against fighters. I've seen Frank do some of those things, and a lot of it has to do with his footwork overall. You know, I've seen him turn his opponents and step around them because he just had the superior foot speed, you know, and hold on. Split decision win for Maloney lost, y'all. Split decision loss for Maloney. Guerrero won. I mean, from what I was seeing, I know I was talking a lot to you guys. It looked like it was even from what I was seeing, you know. Yeah, so because I was gonna say that to you guys, but I know, like, you know, when you say certain things, people get bugged out. But I'm watching Frank, and I'm like, no, he doesn't fight exactly like Loma. He don't. I'm not trying to say that. But what I am trying to say is that Frank got certain qualities about him that I feel bad for the Maloney brothers because they both took losses this week. Feel bad for them. They both took losses. But yeah, Frank got certain qualities, and being that we never saw the Loma fight, right? Because that's one of the fights that I wanted to see for years. I wanted Tank to really take that fight. I always thought Tank had a good shot at taking the fight, but we never got it. It is what it is. But I think Frank have certain qualities in his style that will bring that brings that kind of like Loma feel to it. I don't think he has the angles. I don't think he fights better on the inside. I don't think he has the reflexes defensively. Obviously, he don't. The biggest major part about him when you're comparing him to Loma is that he don't have the head movement. He don't have that. Like his blocking, his defense is all legs and all blocks, keeping his guard up. All right. But athletically, as far as like moving, I see some of those things there. I think he moves better than Tank do. I would even go as far as saying I think he moves better. He is very quick on his feet. But I also watched the fight with Frank, his last fight against what's the name? Haratunian. All right, which he was able to come back and win, but Haratunian destroyed him to the body. I mean, the first half of that fight, Frank looked like he was going to lose the fight. Like, you know, I've seen Frank Martin fight a lot of guys at this point. You know, I've seen him fight enough. You've seen him fight Michelle Rivera. He fought Jackson Marinas. I saw the Romero Dillon fight. And I saw some of the fights before that when I was just basically doing my film study to break down those fights. But Haratunian did the best. And he destroyed his body. And I can see Tank giving them problems there. Obviously, the Tank got a big punch. They have experience sparring each other and all that. But I think Frank Martin, like I said in previous videos, Frank Martin is actually one of the fighters that I actually wanted to see Tank. I've always said to you guys on this channel, I'm a big Tank fan, but Tank never fights the people I want to see him face. He just doesn't. He doesn't fight the people I want to see him face. I wanted to see him Lomachenko. I wanted to see him Shakur Stevenson and Shakur Stevenson. I wanted to see him fight Devin, you know, Haney and stuff. But Frank Martin is one of those dudes that I was like, I knew this fight would happen, and I'm cool with this fight. I'm good with this fight. No, there are better fights out there, but I'm good with this fight because he's fighting someone that I know is a disciplined fighter that has respectable power, has athleticism, have different tools that could work for him going into this fight. Whereas everybody else, I kind of always knew it, the outcome. I think the only fighter that really surprised me going into the fight was Isaac Cruz. Isaac Cruz was the first guy that really like made me like, yo, that I didn't think this guy was gonna give Tank these problems. I thought I'm looking at the film study. I'm like, I could see Tank timing him when uppercut. When Cruz come in, he's shorter. He got that pickable style and he's winging crazy hooks and stuff. I can see where Tank could set him up for a crazy uppercut, similar to like Leo Santa Cruz and something like that. But I was completely wrong. Like, yo, this dude, this dude, Isaac Cruz got a style that is kind of like troublesome for everybody. I just think he's always gonna give people trouble. So I do think Frank is a bigger threat, and I'm talking about the matchup itself. How the fight plays out might be a completely different story. I don't know. Maybe Tank knocks him out, but I think Frank has a little bit more to offer than some of the opponents that we seen Tank fight recently. We know that Barrios did good, but Barrios took a completely different approach from the Barrios we seen at welterweight. You know what I mean? Like Barrios has brought the fight straight to everybody he's fought at welterweight. But when he fought Tank, he had to stay out of range. He looked weaker. That's because he was drained at that point. And I think that's part of the reason on why they took that fight. Barrios is good, but he was all about distance against Tank. Whereas at 147, when he's fighting bigger fighters, Barrios is about that action and coming forward and walking guys down and putting a little pressure on them. We saw the Maidana fight recently. We saw the Ugas fight, how he got that fight, how he won that fight. We saw, the Santiago fight and even the Keith Thurman fight. He was a lot like, he was different. It was a different approach than what he was against the smaller Tank Davis. Yeah, Maloney. Yeah, no, I didn't hear him, but I seen him just walk out. Um, it is what it is, man. From what I saw, it looked like it was close. But again, I didn't score the fight, so I don't want to say, but a tough week for the Maloney brothers. Both of them lost. And Jason lost last week. It is what it is. Yeah, Cody, to be honest, man, I don't really care about the pay-per-view. The way I look at these pay-per-views, especially because that one specifically did so well, is because of the fight itself. A lot of people want to argue about who was responsible more because Tank had previous pay-per-views that did nowhere near those kind of numbers, but Ryan didn't have any pay-per-views, period. Before that fight. He had one against Devin Haney recently, but I don't even know what the official numbers for that one is. And again, he didn't have a pay-per-view for Oscar Duarte. Tank has a pay-per-view against anybody he faces. And no, I don't think he's going to do any. He's not going to do well pay-per-view wise against Frank Martin. He probably is not going to have any more than 200K buys, if that. But honestly, I've been saying this for a while on here. I do think Ryan has proven, I don't know what the official Devin Haney numbers are because I've heard over 1 million and I've also heard 500K, but uh it seems to me like Ryan is a star at this point. At this point, he's legitimately a big name in boxing. I also think that Tank is as well. He is one of the biggest name in boxing. And I think if Ryan is to go and fight anybody else, including Devin Haney, who he just fought, he's not going to do the numbers that he did with Tank. Those, you got to factor in the opponent on why pay-per-view's doing well. You have to factor that in. With every time you get a star, it's like Canelo today. He did 500K with Munguia, and I think Munguia, I wouldn't call him a star. He's probably a star in Mexico, but he's done bigger numbers with other fighters. You know, he did Caleb Plant. He's doing 800K. Gennady Golovkin, he's done over 1 million. You know, it really depends on the opponent. You could be a star, but your pay-per-view numbers might not be that well if the person you're facing is not that big of a fighter. By the way, they're doing an interview with George. I don't know if this is a previous recorded interview, but he's still fully dressed. All right, he hasn't wrapped his hands. The gloves are off. So I guess we still got time before we get the main event. You know, I mean, it's starting to look like it's going to be a really late fight because it's already 11 o'clock, and we're probably going to get another fight. No, I've heard Haney and Ryan at one point. I heard it was 1 million. I heard they cracked 1 million, but I also heard that was 500K. And that's why I asked even on Twitter today, what are the official numbers? Just out of curiosity. You know, not that I don't care that much, but I am curious to know. Like, knowing the numbers is cool. But you know, I'm not a pay-per-view expert or anything like that. I kind of just give me the good fights. I don't really care too much. The top 5 most popular guys right now in the entire sport. I would say no order. I would probably say right now, right now. I would say no order. Canelo, Fury, AJ, Brian, and Tank. I think those 5 are the top 5. No order. I'm just giving you 5 guys that I think are the most famous worldwide. I would say Canelo, AJ, Fury, Tank, and Ryan. Those 5 guys. Well, Jake Paul, yeah, I guess he's the most fair, you know, but I'm talking about boxers. Right now, I would say those 5, maybe. I'm sure you could swap 1 or 2 of them. You know, I think Bud could be, but I don't think before the Arrow fight he was top 5. He may be top 5 right now as far as fame. We're talking about fame. I would say Bud could be number 5, or he could be in that 5. If you take someone out, but there's no way to really know that because we've only seen him get a lot of, you know, attention when he fought Spence. You know what I mean? So Inoue is another guy that you can bring up. Yeah, I mean, listen, this is not definite. I just think off top, those are the 5 guys. Inoue could be, Crawford could be. Those are 2 guys that are very known. You know what I mean? I'm not basing that. I don't know what we're basing that on, because I'm basing it off what I see, not only being a content creator, but just a fan and following social media and seeing who everybody is talking about. But it seems like the reason why I named those 5 fighters, because it seems like no matter what they do, people are paying attention to what they're doing, you know, and when it seems like when it comes to Bud Crawford, um, outside of the Spence fight, when he wasn't fighting, people weren't constantly talking about him. Same thing with Inoue. It's like when he wasn't fighting, people weren't constantly talking about him. But I'm basing that off of what I'm seeing. It's outside of the world. But Crawford, since beating Spence, his name is always mentioned in boxing conversations now. It wasn't always that way though. He's always mentioned now, but that's for the past year. But I'm also speaking as an American boxing fan. Um, you know what I mean? That's the way I look at it. Devin Haney's a guy. If I gave you 5 names, but if I had a 10 name list, I would throw Devin Haney in there now. I would throw Crawford and Inoue as well. You know, um, I would throw some of these names in there. You know, yeah, Crawford and Inoue. If they're not top 5, they're probably top 10. And even Devin Haney. Devin Haney has to be in that conversation now as boxers that are famous. I don't think it has anything to do with what you just accomplished, but who everybody saw. Because Ryan Garcia hasn't accomplished much as far as titles. All right, we have a bantamweight female fight coming up next. Yeah, the pacing of the show does suck because it's too late. And I know this fight is in Australia, so I understand that, but the times and the schedule of the fight based on what was reported prior to tonight is way off. You know, Project, I did say who I thought the top 5 was. I said it a few times. If we're talking about fame worldwide, I said the top 5 are probably Canelo, Joshua, Fury, Tank, and Ryan Garcia. All right. I think Bud could be in there. I think Bud, Inoue, and Devin Haney could be in there, but those are the 5 that I believe are the most famous worldwide. All right, but there's no way to ever really prove that because I'm basing that on what I'm seeing. I don't know what the rest of the world thinks of those 5. He run. Thank you for donating to the channel. He says Boxingwave is Fury and an all-time great with a win over Usyk. Yeah, absolutely. I think he at least you can make an argument that he's the you can make an argument that he's the greatest heavyweight since Lennox Lewis. You can make an argument, that overall he's better than the Klitschko's. You can make an argument. It's not my argument to make. I want to see the fight. We'll have a conversation after the fight. But I think you can make a strong case that at least for now, he would have proven that he's the lead guy in this generation of heavyweight boxing. You know, that's my argument. My argument is you are the best in this generation. The Klitschko's was the best in the last generation. And the generation before that, I would probably say Lennox Lewis, in my opinion. That's the way I look at it. That's the way I look at it overall. But I'm talking about for argument's sake, not like that's my pick. All right. Can Zhang beat Fury? I don't know. They would have to really fight, man. I think Zhang and Wilder fighting each other next is gonna answer a lot of questions on where I view them. That would answer a lot of questions for me. Because the way I look at it is like Zhang is Zhang and Wilder are old, but Zhang really has like a low punch output type of style, right? And you could see why he loses his fights when he loses them. At the same time, I don't know if Wilder's ever. I don't even know if Wilder's recovered from that third loss of Fury. So I gotta wait and see how he looks in that fight for me to talk. Like that's a very important fight. They just both lost at Parker. I don't know where Wilder is. I don't know if he's durable anymore. I don't know if he has a killer instinct to want to really hurt someone. I don't know. And then Zhang at the same time, he might win fighting the same kind of fight that he fought against Hergovich and Joseph Parker. He may win, but if he loses again, it would make me like, all right, maybe you just beat Joyce because your style matched up perfectly for him. That's the way I'm looking at it. Yeah. Um, the thing with ATG, what's up, Andy? What's good? The thing with the ATG talk is, can you be ATG and be and be a generational great? Like, can you be a generation? If you are a generational great, can you still be an ATG? Like, you're the best in this generation. Like, I know he's still. Many of us believe that he still needs to fight Joshua, but whether or not he wins or loses to Joshua, I think what he's accomplished, if he is to beat Usyk, says a lot about him. Period. I think if he is to beat Usyk next week, I think he officially has the best resume out these guys. But I don't think you can answer it right now. Having a win over Klitschko, Wilder, White, and Usyk without AJ, to me, is the clear number one. To me, was he consistent resume wise? Absolutely not. Did he fight some people that we just did not want to see? No. But having those key wins is a big deal. So Klitschko had his run. You were the first to beat him. You were able to beat an undefeated Alexander Usyk. You were able to beat an undefeated Deontay Wilder. All right. I think that says a lot. Do I still want him to fight AJ? Absolutely. Absolutely. But in this generation, that I think if he is to win next week, he would be the best of this generation, current generation, which is still incomplete in my opinion, because there are still a few fights that didn't happen yet. Wilder never fought AJ, Fury never fought AJ, mostly involving AJ. You know, that's the way I look at it. Do I think Fury is damaged good against? No, 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 no. First of all, I'm this and the first part. No, I don't think he's damaged goods. I just think that right now, without fighting Usyk, without fighting AJ, it has nothing to do with being damaged goods. Fury has struggled in certain fights throughout his career. He's been dropped by a good amount of fighters at this point. Now, he hasn't lost, but there's still unanswered questions there. You haven't fought Usyk. You haven't fought AJ. I don't know where to really rank you. Right now, it's still very debatable who's the number one guy. Is it you? Is it Joshua? Is it Usyk? You know, like, I want to know who's number one. So that's the way I look at it. There's still a lot of unanswered questions in this current generation. Igor, it doesn't bother me that he hasn't fought a southpaw in like 5 years. You know, before last fight, George Kambosos hadn't fought a southpaw in 9 years. It doesn't bother me. It could be a disadvantage. It's just that we got to understand, and this is what I said about Anthony Joshua going into the Otto Wallin fight. Anthony Joshua, I thought the fight was not a dangerous fight for him because even losing to Usyk made him a better fighter. You got to deal with a fighter that's not only a southpaw, but he's an athletic freak of nature. With the amount of things that he's doing in there, the amount of feints he's doing, all that lead hand stuff that he does, his legs, his movement, all this stuff. When you go from that and you had 2 fights with the guy, and then you go to Otto Wallin, it's an easier matchup for you because you're fighting a stationary target. You're fighting a southpaw, but you're fighting a stationary southpaw that probably doesn't even punch, even though Usyk is a smaller guy. Usyk probably punches a lot harder. We've seen Usyk hurt fighters that are superior than the fighters that Otto Wallin just fought, right? So my point is, Otto Wallin, it's been 5 years, and I know Fury had trouble against Otto Wallin, but Usyk is someone that is just difficult to prepare for because he's doing so much, and his lack of size is probably an advantage for him because he's quicker than these guys. He's able to beat them when it comes to punch volume. Um, him having the better stamina is a super advantage against these bigger, slower heavyweights. He's probably not. He's not a one punch knockout kind of guy at heavyweight, but he has his advantages. You know, Igor says Fury by decision and Knicks in 6 boys, and it should have been Knicks in 5. But thank you for donating, man. Do I think this is the weakest of generation to ever exist? I honestly still think that this generation is a little better than the last. I actually thought the Klitschko generation was kind of weak. There were some good guys there like Bird, Samuel. Some of the guys at that time were good. But Samuel Peter, Chris Bird, Klitschko's. I know Povetkin. You can make an argument that Povetkin is from that time. But you could make an argument that division or that generation was a little weaker. You can make a strong argument that generation is a little weaker. David Hay, yeah. I like this generation better than that generation. So let me say that. Wilder, Joshua, Fury, Joyce, Zhang, Povetkin, Dillian White, Joseph Parker. I love this current. This has been great for me. Outside of all of the bullshit, I love this generation much more than that last generation. You know, the 90s guys were the best for me because I grew up in that time. But I mean, this has been exciting for me. I mean, we got to see classic fights. I thought the Fury and Wilder trilogy went on for too long, but they were classic moments, man. You guys saw my reaction in those videos. Joshua being Klitschko was a classic fight, classic moment in heavyweight boxing. Wilder against Luis Ortiz, was there for that. It was a great night. Those were fights that got me excited. At the end of the day, that's what I'm here for. I want to watch something that's going to get me going and get me excited. And I can't say during the Klitschko era, I had many of those moments. I remember seeing Klitschko knock out Pulev, and I remember that being a big fight. And I remember doing content on that fight. But I also remember Klitschko holding Povetkin to death and it being one of the most disappointing fights that I've seen. Because Povetkin was supposed to be that guy to take the throne, just like Pulev was. Now, Pulev obviously fell, but Povetkin and Klitschko ended up being one of the most disappointing fights that I've seen at the heavyweight division. Just like Fury and Klitschko actually end up being one of the most disappointing fights that we've seen. So that's the way I look at it, man. That's the way I look at it. Prime Floyd against Prime Crawford. I don't know, man. You guys know I love Terence Crawford, man. I love Terence Crawford, and I think Crawford matches up well against Floyd compared to most of the majority of the people that Floyd fought. So before I even say anything, I like Crawford being able to switch. I like his power. I like him, the fact that he's super technical, but he's a fighter. He's a guy that's trying to knock you out, even at his age. It's a dream fight to see Floyd Mayweather against Terence Crawford, and they're both in their primes. But at the same time, when I watch a prime Floyd, just his defense is what makes me edge him in a fight. His defense was just so good, his reflexes. Crawford had the power, but Floyd had the defense and the reflexes and the accuracy. I would still edge Floyd in a fight, but I do say that I like Crawford's chances of beating Floyd more so than just about anybody that Floyd fought, at least at 147 and up. So I will say that. And that's a lot of people because we're talking Canelo, we're talking Manny Pacquiao, we're talking a lot of people. Miguel Cotto. There's a lot of people that Floyd fought 147 and up. And I would like Terence Crawford's chances above all of those guys. you know. Yeah, Bud is listen, Bud, I'm not gonna argue with you guys. Bud has tools that a lot of those fighters that Floyd beat didn't have. But, Floyd was just defensively again, amazing defensively, very, very quicker than Bud. Um, I know timing beats speed, but Floyd wasn't just very easy to read. Floyd. I mean, when you like, I said a minute ago that I think Crawford might have been tougher than all of Floyd's opponents at 147 and up. But Floyd is leagues above everybody else that Crawford fought. Like you guys, I was watching an old Floyd fight recently when he was young and when he was more still of a knockout guy. And this guy's, when we talk prime, we're exactly what we're talking because I think Crawford is as at his best as a welterweight. I don't think he was better at 135 and 140. I thought he was still very good at that time, but I think he's his best now. I think his power is really coming through now, even though it was there before. But you guys, like Floyd was really, really good, man, and he was way better than all of these guys that Crawford fought and beat. He was way better than all those guys. So when I do that comparison, you got to remember when I talk Floyd and his resume is very, very debatable on where you to place Crawford. But when it comes to Crawford and his resume, it fails dramatically in comparison to Floyd. And Floyd made it look easy every time, outside of, a couple of his fights, Steele, Maidana, a few of his fights. Yes, he got caught, he got hurt in a few fights. But man, you know, like even Zab, like look at the Zab Judah fight. I know Floyd got an unofficial knockdown in that fight. His glove did touch the mat and all that stuff. Zab didn't win like the first 3 rounds, maybe 4 rounds, something like that. But Zab was so quick. Zab was so powerful. Zab was very, very good. He just couldn't maintain what he was doing. And that's what makes you a great fighter is his adjustments. You can compare Bud's fight. You can Bud's fight against Gamboa is pretty much the same fight as as Floyd's fight against Zab. You can compare. But I would take Zab at that time as far as being a little bit more difficult than Gamboa at the time that Crawford fought. I think this is, I don't know. I have to go with Floyd. Again, Bud is my favorite active boxer, and he's been for a while. But they're both special. I don't want to make it seem like either one is any less special than the other. But I mean, when I look at Floyd, he's insane, bro. I know people hate him. I know people can't stand this dude. But when it comes to what I've seen him do in a ring, it's just he's just his own guy, you know? Loma and Inoue at 130. Um, Loma would win. I'm sorry. I think Loma, when we're talking prime, again, I don't know, Loma to me was just 126 Loma. Like, I love Inoue. He's a phenomenal fighter, but 126 Loma was freaking crazy. Like, if you take this version of Inoue right now, 122, and Loma was still like in his fourth or fifth fight at a 126 pounder, and they decided to fight each other, I'm taking Loma, bro. I'm taking Loma. Loma, like, in his late, like, while he was still in his 20s, I'm taking Loma, bro. Not too many people is gonna beat that guy. He's not like, we could argue all day about how some of these fights could go, but Loma, I'm the one that told you that that fight with freaking Rigo was a terrible matchup. I mean, terrible. And Rigo is one of the freaking best fighters in the world. It's just certain fights just don't match up well, man. Rigo and Inoue was a great fight. Oh man, now if those two could have fought at 122, I don't know. Rigo at 122 when he beat Donaire versus Inoue at 122, like now. Oh man, I don't know. That is a dream fight right there. That is that's 50-50 to me. The Rigo that fought Donaire versus Inoue at 122 right now. Somebody might really get exposed, and I don't know who it is. Somebody might get exposed. I can't even tell you that would be a good fight because I don't know how that fight might play out. Rigo's style could be all wrong for Inoue. It could be. Or Inoue might freaking catch this dude and knock him out. That would have been a phenomenal fight if they were fighting at the same time in their primes. That is one that would have been a nightmare to do content on before the fight. That would have been insane. But Loma against Inoue, like a bigger version of I wouldn't have liked that fight. Because Loma at 126, Loma at 126 destroys everyone that's currently at 126 right now and 130, in my opinion. If he fought Navarrete, all of these guys if he fought any of those guys, he would have beat them. This is my opinion. Yeah, that's what I'm saying. Nue has never seen Rigo's defense in his life. That is absolutely fact. But Rigo has never seen anyone that was on a level as Inoue at the same time. Well, you can make an argument that Donaire at that time was on the level of where Inoue is right now. You can at least make a case there. You can make a case. You can make a strong case that Donaire at that time, because a much older Donaire gave Inoue hell in that fight at 118, that first fight. You know? Yeah. So that's just, yeah, because I want y'all to get twisted. Like Donaire, you gotta remember Donaire at the time that he fought Rigo, and even after, was considered to be a pound for pound fighter. You know what I mean? We can't forget these things. You know, I know people like to forget that certain fighters were top pound for pound fighters at their prime. But that would have been, I don't think you can get any more 50-50 going into a fight. 122 Rigo in his prime against a 122 Donaire. I mean, in a way, at right now, I think that's as 50-50 as you can get. But Lomachenko coming down or meeting Inoue at 126, Loma's size would have been too much. Loma's size and talent overall would have been too much for Inoue to me. I know Inoue is a phenomenal boxer and he's one of the best ever already. He's already making himself to be an all-time great. But just like I said with Rigo when they fought Loma, it's just there's there's a limit where you can go. And this Loma is insane. Loma was freaking insane at 126 yo. Yo, Loma was crazy. So is Inoue right now. But Loma was crazy, but he was bigger, you know? Yo, that Gary Russell was a good fighter, bro. Gary Russell was a good fighter, man. Very, very good fighter at that time. In his prime, no matter what excuses he made after the fight. That was insane. You just go back and watch the highlights of how Loman made it look so easy. He made it look so easy. Like this guy, Gary Russell Jr. at the time, had the fastest hands in boxing, and he was a puncher. It's a career featherweight, bro. And he had nothing for Loma. Nothing at all. Nothing. He embarrassed Nicholas Walters. Remember what Nicholas Walters did to Nonito Donaire? Loma made this guy quit, man. He retired, bro. That was insane. Guy had his hands down. Not too many people. Listen, and I think that's the problem with Loma. Like, it's like kind of like Roy Jones, and I'm not comparing him to Roy Jones, but I am in a way. When you're that athletic, like you're a super freak of nature where you can just have your hands down, no one can hit you, and you can, do whatever you want. Then you got to rely on your skills when you get older. You know what I mean? And I think that's the problem that comes with being super freakishly like athletic like that. Because when Roy got older, especially when he came back down from heavyweight, he just was never the same. Guys, I don't know when the fight is going to start because they're not going based on schedule. We're in our last round of this Hughes and Johnson fight. And I'm hoping that it's next because I'm tired. I want to go to bed. I would like to go to bed. I love you guys. I want to go lay down. I had a long day. All right. But this fight is coming to a close. And I'm really hoping the main event is next, man, because this is getting late. And again, I know they're in Australia and I know their time is different out there, but Jesus, man, they said 8 p.m. Eastern for the card and 11 p.m. Eastern for the walkout. And we are nearly 12 p.m. Eastern. Yeah, Kiab, Toom. Sorry if I say your name wrong. I agree with you. Nah, I don't train. I've been thinking about going back and training again. Just to get back in shape, you know. Uh well, that happens when, this is why guys like Bernard Hopkins were able to survive as long as they did, because they had skills, they had the skills to still compete. Bernard Hopkins had the skills, and Yeah, a light heavy at the time, fighting Shumanev and some of the guys that B-Hop fought. They weren't the greatest. So it was kind of a weaker moment, you know. This was like right when Kovalev and Adonis Stevenson started to take over. But Murad, Tararis Cloud, who was a champion at the time, Bebu Shumanev, who was a champion at the time. That was a 3-belt unification with Shumanev. You know, those were fights where, like, you know, the division was kind of weak at the time, you know, and I don't want to take anything away from B-Hop, but he had the skills to just outbox these guys. You know what I mean? He didn't have the athleticism like he did, but he was able to fight for a lot longer at a higher level than Roy did. You know, Roy just was just, he didn't have it no more. No disrespect. He just, you know, he fought a way where his style, and even him as a trainer, because I said this. Just over there scores the competition, 95-95 draw. Judge Keeley scores the competition, 96-94, and Judge Nakamura scores the competition, 98-92 for your winner. Oh, those scorecards all over the place. And still, the WBA Women's Bantamweight World Champion, a lopsided scorecard of 98-92 favors Nina Hughes. Hughes beats Johnson. And it looks like they were showing Loma a minute ago. It looks like he's getting ready to come out. Looks like he's ready to go. So Hughes won a majority of decision. Wait, the scorecards are wrong. Am I bugging? No, they read the. Yo, guys, they read the card wrong. They gave it to Johnson. Oh my God, bro. Oh, they're gonna go crazy on the internet. They read the score wrong, bro, and they gave it to Hughes, but they had to reread it, and they gave it to Johnson. They already celebrated the win. This was like, what happened with this? And didn't this happen with Didn't this happen with Danny Jacobs and Gabe Rosado? This happened, right? Oh. Oh, this speaking of Jason Maloney. Hold on.
Honestly, I should say I'm shocked, but I've been here before in this sport. It's corrupt as anything. I thought I won 10 rounds to 2.
Andrew Maloney said he thought he won 10 rounds to 2.
I went into the fight with an injury, and I knew that if I needed to pick it up, I could, but I didn't feel like I needed to. I felt in total control. I thought at max I lost 2 rounds.
All right, hold on. All right, I might have to go back and rewatch that fight. I gotta go back and rewatch that fight. Not tonight, but I'm gonna have to rewatch that fight. You know, because that I don't even know what. I don't know what the hell just happened. But that is crazy. They read the scorecards wrong, and this chick was celebrating. And they just did a switcheroo. Damn, bro, that's crazy. I'm gonna have to rewatch that fight tomorrow, and at some point follow up with the outcome of that fight and let you know who I really think won the fight. I mean, as I'm talking to you guys, you know, I was watching like a little bit of it and it looked competitive, but You know, same thing with this fight with Andrew Maloney here. Um, it looked like that fight was very competitive too, from what I was seeing. I don't. It didn't look like a clear winner for him to say he thought he won 10-2, but yeah. Yeah, I don't know, man. We got that outcome was crazy. All right, so I think the main event is coming up next. Hopefully it is. He said Teddy Atlas is gonna blow a fuse. That's if he's seen it. Andrew's really upset, man. They just show him kicking up chairs and he's really, really. I feel bad for them, just the fact that they both took an L this week, but I mean, he had an injury. You say you forgot about Teddy. I watch Teddy's channel sometimes. I watch Teddy when I know he's gonna say something controversial. I don't know. I don't know. I don't know if the right person won. I didn't score the rounds. I'm gonna have to rewatch it. All right. I didn't score. I watch Teddy Atlas when I know he's gonna say something controversial, especially if there's a fight where I thought the outcome was a little controversial. I like to watch him just to see what he's gonna say, even if I disagree with him, you know. Um, but I like to watch him when I think he's gonna just go crazy, you know. I think he's the best to watch. You know, I do miss him doing like live commentary. He was definitely fun to watch on a live fight, especially when there was like some sort of like robbery or something. You know, like Friday night fights on ESPN back in the day. Um, but Kambosos Loma's coming up next. We're just waiting. All right. Please smash the like button, man. We've been, talking for the last 2.5 hours, man. Let's get these likes up for me, please. Appreciate that. All right, let me just make one last bathroom break before this fight starts and grab a water. I will be right back. Give me a few. All right, guys. Thank you for waiting. What's up, Punch Quote? All right, so the main event should be starting any moment. Any last picks? Anyone picking for upset? All right, I think the majority of us is picking Loma to win. Is anyone picking an upset for tonight? One lump sum. I'll take a shot if you're taking. I can't see you, but if you take a shot with me and you tell me what you're drinking, I'll take a shot with you. I'll take a shot with you guys. I'll grab something and take a shot, but don't lie to me. You gotta take a shot too. I want to know what you got. I'll take one with you guys. Oh, you're having a beer? Oh, okay. All right, I'll grab something in a minute. I got Loma. I think I'm going with Loma decision. Uh, I think that let's see. I would like to say I think 116, 112 is pretty fair. I think there is going to be a judge in there that's going to have it for George, or maybe at least a draw for George. All right. But I'm expecting two comfortable cards for Loma and one a draw for George, just because he's the hometown fighter. All right. But that's the way I'm looking at it. All right. We're just waiting for the fight. If you guys are just coming in, we're waiting for this fight to start. We're waiting for these guys to come out. All right. But I'm got Loma by decision. I know a lot of you guys are picking him to win by stoppage. I think George is tough. I think he's going to be able to make it to the end. You know. All right. Let me grab my shot, man. Let me see what I got in here. Hold on. All right. Have a bottle of Johnny Walker Gold. You guys can see it. Yeah. All right. So that's what we're going with. Just one shot though. But yeah, I think that's what I'm gonna go with. I'm gonna roll with the decision. Okay, might be a majority or even a split, but I don't think Loma's gonna stop him, man. I think George has shown that he's pretty durable in the past, and I think he's gonna go the distance with Loma. No matter how much he's struggling in a fight. I think Loma at this age, not fighting much, 36 years old. I just don't think he's quite the fighter he used to be. He's still very good, but I don't think he's just like a monster like that, you know? Cheers. All right. Prime Mike Tyson against Prime Muhammad Ali. I know when I was younger, I always said Mike. And then when I was older, when I said older, when I was older, when I got older, I started thinking that Ali had a shot. But I'm gonna go with Mike. I'm gonna go with Mike. I think Prime Mike will get him. Yeah. Late 80s Mike. I think it's Ali. I think he catches Ali with a good shot. We're talking late 80s Mike versus pre-war Ali. I'm gonna go with Mike. Yeah. I don't think Loma's gonna get tired. I just the reason why, like I've said earlier, and even in the breakdown, the reason why I'm picking Lompa, and it's simply because George, these are the keys. George don't have enough experience fighting southpaws. He, in my opinion, lost his last fight against the southpaw. That even at his age, Lomachenko is extremely athletic compared to him. I just didn't like the way George's legs looked. It looked like he could not follow um Hughes at certain points, you know. I just liked what Hughes was doing in that fight. Yeah, I don't like to judge everyone based on one fight, but when you go 9 years without fighting a southpaw, and this guy was able to time you with ease, I gotta go with Loma. You know what I mean? I just don't think George has the legs to keep up with Loma. Loma is just, it's gonna be too much. And I think Loma creating angles by stepping around him and turning him continuously, unlike George, just doesn't have the legs that Jermaine Ortiz and Devin Haney had. One thing that those guys did was when Loma decided to step and turn you and step around you, those guys was able to pivot and follow him, at the same speed. And I just don't think George is going to be able to deal with that. And I don't think you can really fully prepare for that. George don't have the jab. He doesn't have the power. He doesn't have the legs. He doesn't have the experience in fighting southpaws and stuff like that. I just think that I think he's just completely overmatched going into this fight. I think he's going to be at his best, his physical best at his age. I think he's probably going to be very prepared. I think he feels like this is probably his last opportunity, but I'm sure he really wanted to beat Teofimo Lopez. He really wanted to beat Devin Haney at home and become undisputed. We can't just keep using that as an excuse like, oh, he needs to win. He needs to win. He's eager to win. Yeah, he was eager to win against Devin Haney twice at home, and he couldn't do it. I just think Lomachenko outmatches him overall. All right. What's my definition of being in your prime? Prime, physical prime, where I can see that you're at your best. You might not be the most experienced because you might not have faced your toughest challenges yet, but you're in your physical prime where you're just at your sharpest, I guess, and I think there might be a streak of fights that determines that, and if you're a guy like Floyd, for example, I think I made a video a long time ago, and it's probably still up, where I was comparing Pretty Boy Floyd to Money May. And the thing about Pretty Boy Floyd was a beast. He might knock you out. He was more offensive. Money May was more defensive. All right. So depending on which version you like of Floyd, I think the Pretty Boy Floyd was a little bit more entertaining, not boring. Like people used to complain that he runs or he was too boring and he wasn't getting any knockouts. But Pretty Boy Floyd was more entertaining. But Money May was defensive. So in those cases, that's one of the cases where an older version, you can make the argument that the older guy might have been in his prime. Even with Terence Crawford, I think Crawford is better in his mid-30s than he was, in previous years. But Mike's prime is when he was an athletic freak. So was Roy. So was Lomachenko. So a lot of it is based on athleticism, depending on what kind of fighter you are. When you're an athletic freak of nature, like those guys, or even a Manny Pacquiao, um, those are the guys that's in their primes, you know. So that's just my opinion. You know, I'm sure if we talk longer, we can give examples all night, and go to different fighters and stuff like that. But Muhammad Ali was definitely in his physical prime before the war. You know what I mean? All right, George is coming out first. He's leaving his dressing room now. One lump sum. Thank you, bro. Appreciate you. He says, I'm boxer. We usually agree, but not always. But you are a good dude. Appreciate the lives about to turn off the P's and watch the main fight live. Thank you, man. I appreciate you saying that. Really do. Um, so George is coming out. He's leaving his dressing room. He's about to do his ring walk now. And here we go. Here we go. We're not supposed to always agree in boxing. We can't. You want somebody to win. I want somebody to win. This is not a team-based sport. And that's why we have the tribalism that we have. You might like the fight. Like this guy's, you got a guy from Greece versus a guy from the Ukraine. You know, it's just, you're going to go with who you want. You might like a fighter better based on who they are and what they look like or where they're from. But I think we could still have respect. I don't know, somewhere we kind of lost that with boxing. People just, it's a place that people can be prejudiced openly, and it is what it is, man. It's never going to change. It's not going to get any better. DJ says, there are levels to boxing: good, great, and different. Where is Devin Haney in your opinion? I still really don't know completely. You know, I don't know. I don't believe he had the toughest road to get to the top. I have to honestly say that. You know, and there's nothing wrong because I'm a big supporter of Devin, but I'm not gonna sit here and be delusional neither. Devin did have some good timing, and sometimes that's part of the game. Whereas, you know, certain fighters actually legitimately beat fighters at their very best. Where I think fighting Loma was a good timing, fighting Prograde was good timing. Not saying he wouldn't have won those fights, but fighting George wasn't, it was good timing, but George, in my opinion, beat one of the best fighters out there on the best nights. Now that Devin Haney has lost and was brutally beaten, his next fight is going to show me who he really is. You know, it might not just be his next fight. It might be the fight after that. I don't think Sandor Martin is an easy fight for him. It's not a tune-up. He's not fighting a big puncher, but he's fighting a very, very good boxer that beat Mikey Garcia and made Teal look bad. Dropped him twice, in my opinion. So we just got to wait and see, man. It's all about patience and waiting to see what these guys can really do at moments like this. You know, some guys lose and they come back and do greater things. All right. George is in the ring, and Loma is now leaving the dressing room. I'm really rooting for Loma. I'm really rooting for him. No matter how much the fans piss me off sometime, I'm really rooting for Loma because this is his last chance, in my opinion, to, you know, like being at the division reset itself. Um, this is his last shot, you know, and I think this is what happens when you're such a good when you're such let me lower this down because I want to say this. When you're such a good amateur and you win multiple gold medals like Loma did, like Rigo did, it's the downfall of that is that you don't have a lot of time in the pro rankings like that. You know what I mean? You just don't. You don't. You have to come out fast, which is cool because Andy Cruz is coming out fast. You know, he's not going to go through a million freaking um journeymen before they start putting him against good fighters. You know, but he is 28 years old. And being that he's a freakishly like athletic fighter too, very skilled, just like Loma, just like some of the other guys we were talking about earlier. But he's 28 years old right now, and he has 3 pro fights. You know, it's like you don't have a lot of time, bro. You don't have a lot of time because once those reflexes are not as sharp as they once were, guys are gonna pick you apart. You're a super fast fighter. Your reflexes are insane. He is great to look at. Don't have the biggest punch, but guys like him, he kind of reminds me of like how I felt about Loma. But you gotta go right away. And if your promoter can't, you know, he's with Eddie. I think Bob did a great thing with Loma. I mean, it sucks what happened with him and Salido, but I actually think Salido beating Loma made Loma better because it made him aggressive every other fight after that. You know, I think Loma losing that night, I haven't watched a Salido fight in a long time. You know, I might have like took little short like clips of it and might I haven't watched the fight in a long time, but from what I remember from that fight, Loma just wasn't being aggressive, you know, and he has periods where he's just I don't know. But that fight sucked for him. And again, with all that amateur background that he had, 400 fights, 1 loss, he still looked very inexperienced in that second pro fight. You know what I mean? But some of these guys that are like Olympics for years, man, they gotta go, man. They gotta go right away. They gotta go. They gotta go straight to the top right away, man. And they gotta go and try to get a title shot right away. There's no time to waste. And then at the same time, you're still working on your power, you know, turning those punches. And, you know, we've seen that with Andy Cruz. You know, can he be a puncher at this stage? You know, he's with the Ennises, so we just got to wait and see. All right. But they're doing the national anthems now. Both fighters are in the ring with this. As soon as round 1 starts, I'm going to call it, man. I'm going to call it. John Doe says he didn't like how Loma complained after losing to Devin. Yeah, he complained with T.O. as well. You know, um, is what it is, man. You know, I think one thing about the amateurs and being an Olympian, you're missing out on a pro experience when you do. And this is why Loma had his moments where he didn't look so great. This is Rigo as well. Rigo had some really, you guys remember Guillermo Rigondeaux had some stinker of a fight. Like he had a few fights that were horrific, you know. Let me pull it up. But you remember Guillermo Rigondeaux. Damn, I can't even spell it no more. One of my highest views videos back in the day was when I did a video comparison of Guillermo Rigondeaux against Floyd Mayweather. I gotta go back and watch some of my old videos because I'm probably don't even know what the hell I'm talking about. Oh man. It's 12:30. Yeah, I can't believe this fight is so late too. Guillermo Rigondeaux had some terrible, terrible fights in his pro fights. I think he Joseph Abeko was a terrible fight. That's the one that Bob Arum went off and made him look bad by talking bad about how boring his fight was. He had a fight with who else was there? What was the fight that he got knocked down? Oh, Ricardo Cordoba. Oh yeah. This is a fight where he stayed in the pocket and didn't know what the hell he was doing. This was separated him and Floyd because remember, Guillermo Rigondeaux that time, he was a pound for pound top 5 guy. And this was the first time he stayed in a pocket with a bigger fighter. And he didn't know what to do on his side. He was bad. This was what separated him from like the Floyds, from as far as the IQ, the top heavy, the super heavy IQ guys. And Guillermo Rigondeaux looked horrible in that Cordoba fight. He got dropped, and every round after that, he ran. It was terrible. Yeah. But he had some bad fights, and then we all saw the John Rio Casamero fight. Oh my God. One of the worst fights that I had to cover on here, man. Oh, terrible fight. Terrible fight. Come on, EK. Come on, man. You can't go on your dude George like that. That's your guy, man. If he loses today, it's not a bad loss. It's not a bad loss. What time is it, EK? What time is it out there for you guys? Well, the problem was with Guillermo Rigo, and the fight is about to start now. I'm going to cover it. The problem with Guillermo Rigo is that if he didn't knock out a guy quickly, the more rounds it went, the worse he looked. So he got a bunch of fights that is 1 round, 2 round knockouts, but then he have a bunch of fight that went the distance that didn't look good. You know what I mean? All right, here we go, y'all. Let's get it. Let's get it. Let's get it. Let's get it. Let's go. Finally made it. It's 12:30. You would think this is a Vegas fight or something, super fight. George comes out, steps straight to Loma. And George looks a little bigger here, but not crazy compared to Loma and some of the other opponents that he's faced. But Loma, yeah, like Tim said, they're having a little jousting battle. Kambosos did land a right to the body. Okay. So another shot to the body he lands. Looks like he's going to the body. Loma caught him with a jab, though. Got his face red already. But Kambosos he's looking to go to the body in this fight, which is what he needs to do. That's the only thing that really worked against Loma in some of these other fights. All right, and now George is on his back foot a little bit. Nice left hand lands for Loma, but George responds with a combination to the body. I see a little redness to the right side of Loma already. All right. Halfway through the first. Anybody's round still. George is on the back foot now. George may be showing a little bit too much respect for Loma early, but Good combination to the body from George again. He steps in, lands a right and left to the body. Loma's being aggressive early as well. But he's not throwing many punches, but he's stepping to George so far. George trying to time him. He's trying to counter. Loma steps in, throws a jab and a left hand. He got a left in on a bat. I'm sorry, to the body. About 30 seconds left in the first. Seems like Loma's a little bit more in control so far in this first round. He's definitely being a bully here. George comes in, throws a right to the body, throws a right up top, but it misses. Loma catch him with a straight left. Putting a lot of pressure on George. Caught him with another straight left. George caught a clean one there. Round one done. I gave it to Loma. Let me get mine. I gave it to Loma. George caught him with a couple good body shots, but Loma won the round to me. Loma is starting out quick. George is going to have to do a little bit more work. He was trying to counter Loma. Didn't really wasn't successful outside of the body combinations he's landed. Loma, to me, had the better round, especially in the closing moments of the round. Loma seems to get the timing down. George is doing good going to the body, but he's not doing good in timing the counters and trying to catch Loma as he's coming in. That's what he's not doing good at so far. All right, I know it's only one round, but we know that George is a really good counter puncher. But the amount of feigning and level changing from Loma might be an issue. So we're in round two. All right, George is coming forward in the center ring. It looks like he's trying to regain control and be the general here by not fighting completely on his back foot. 1-2 from Loma. Seems like it was partially blocked by George. George goes for a left hook to the body. It looks like Loma might have blocked that one with his elbow. But George caught him with a good right hand to the body right there. Good shot. But Loma's still starting to come forward, being very, very aggressive early. Good combination lands for Loma. George just can't get the timing so far. So far, it's early. George is trying to counter him on his way in and catch him with a hook. And George just can't land so far with that. He's been successful to the body, but nothing else. Loma's looking to knock him out. I'm just saying early. Loma's being very, very aggressive here. Early. Not much downloading information here. He's trying to make a statement here. And Kambosos is already just caught another combination from Loma. Loma's speed is superior. Another left hand lands, connects for Loma. Different kind of fight, man. Different. This is not Jermaine Ortiz. This is not Devin Haney. This is not Teofimo Lopez. Loma is having his way very, very early in this fight. 1 minute, just under 1 minute left in the second round. I don't know what Kambosos do here because I don't even like the way his face looks already. A lot of redness on Kambosos' face so far. Oh God, you guys hear my stomach? Hope you guys didn't hear that. That was crazy. That was crazy. That was the loudest stomach. Oh, Kambosos caused a big right hand to the body. It looked a little low. It looked below the belt. I think the ref was behind Loma's back there, but it was a good shot, man. Yo, Loma again coming in, stepping in, doing combinations, overwhelming George. George trying to counter, but Loma has just been in and out, coming in, boop, 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 and then on his way out. 2-0 Loma. And that Loma, oh man, Loma. Yeah, I don't think it's gonna go 12, y'all. I think some of you guys called it. I think you guys might be right, man. It might be get a stoppage here. I hate to give up on the guy, but Loma again. Loma looks too much better than George already. And George, I don't like the way his face looks. I don't like the way I don't know. That second round, and I don't know. Loma's look like he's in his bag with ease to me. Yeah, I thought that was a low. That was clearly underneath the belt, but Loma didn't react to it. So I don't think the ref couldn't have seen it because the ref was definitely behind Loma. So he wasn't going to see that shot. So to be fair, they weren't going to see it, but I saw it. That was a low shot. All right, but we're in the third round here, and Loma is applying pressure, and George is on the back foot trying to counter him, but he just get the timer right. And again, this is Loma long range, y'all. This is Loma. He is not on the inside. He has not really stepped in too many times yet, and fought on the inside. This is him just trying to get on the inside. And again, where's the jab from George? Where is the straight rights to the body? He's not a high volume puncher. Another left hand lands for Loma. And that's Loma, you know what he does? He drops long, he does a drop step, and then he shoots the left. It appears like he's ready to feint, and then the straight left hands come right behind it. And I think George is he's just trying to figure him out, and you can tell that he's having a lot of trouble so far, halfway through the third round. Another left hand lands for Loma. Little inside work from George, but Loma's doing a better work here. All right, 1 minute and 15 seconds left in the third round. Another round for Loma so far. George again. George caught him. So George caught him with another right to the body. The ref stepped in that time and said it was low. I actually think the first punch from last round was lower than that, but it looked like it hit the belt line just now from George. At least, if not low, at least a belt line. All right, 45 seconds to go. Third round. The only good shot from George was that low blow. George tried to time him when an uppercut coming in, but he's already got a cut on his forehead. I can see, not bleeding. It's not bleeding, but you can just see the redness in his face and a little cut on his forehead. A lot of pressure from Loma. A lot of pressure. This is George. Nice body shot. Oh, but Loma caught him back. George is fighting, and they both. Whoa. Nice exchange at the end of the round. Loma caught him with a couple good shots, but George caught him with a nice little exchange in remaining 5 seconds of that round. But another Loma round. I have it 3-0. I have it 3-0. 3-0 for Lomachenko. 2-1 for Loma. What round did Loma lose? I would assume you had to give George a first round. I don't know. I thought it was even the first round. I think George first round. I can see how you give George the first round just because of the body shots, but I still think Loma did better. But Loma second and third were clear rounds for Loma. Clear, super clear. George's problem is he can't get the timing down for the counters. He doesn't have the jab. He doesn't have the jab like the past opponents did. But we're in round 4. I got a 3-0 for Loma. And these are clear rounds for me, except the first, but second and third, pretty clear. George, again, doesn't have the punch output. He's focused on a counter too much. There's no jab, and Loma has no problems with getting George just caught him with a left hook. Not a hard one, but he caught him as he was trying to get in. Good body shots from George, but it's not the same as when Haney was doing it. It's Haney was using that lead hand to blind Loma and connecting to the body. George lands some good shots here and there, but there's definitely a power difference between the two. Being that Haney was a bigger guy, I think he's a bigger puncher. It doesn't make Loma back off from him, and Loma's just keeping the pressure going. All right, but yeah, Tim is saying the same thing. He's gonna go for the KO. He's definitely fighting like he is. Loma, nice straight left. Moment ago, he's catching George with some big shots. And let me tell you something, man. George didn't look like this when he caught those big shots from T.O. Loma's catching him with some big straight left hands to the body and to the face. George, nice left hook to the body there. I saw that. 40 seconds to go on the 4th. George is looking to try to respond here, but 2 jabs from Loma. Loma's speed and his quickness is too much for George so far. George is getting hit, man. He's going to get stopped at some point. I don't think he's going to go to 12, man. Still early, but George don't got nothing for Loma. Got to be real. 10 seconds to go. George just desperately lunged in with a combo. Didn't touch anything. I'm not writing no more. I'll write when George wins a round. All right, but I'm not writing anymore. This is Loma in his bag, like somebody just said. Classic WWE. This is Loma against an opponent that just doesn't have the tools that Haney and T.O. and Jermaine had. He just doesn't have it. He doesn't have it. The counter is not going to work. You know what? To be honest, Loma is not even taking fully advantage of the angles yet. He's killing him with a straight left hand. To be honest, jabs and straight lefts is what's winning him the fight. He hasn't even really begun to go into his bag and go into those angles on the inside. He hasn't got there yet. He's still in stage 1. He's still in stage 1. And you already know that when Loma is in the second half of the fight and you're already down 4-0, in my opinion, he's not even in the other bag yet. I'm telling you guys. He's not using those crazy angles that we know he's capable of doing. The straight left is his money shot right now. He don't have to change. But he will change as soon as George takes more damage and gets beat up. George is a tough dude, but he's getting beat up pretty bad. Yeah, I didn't see George land anything other than one punch in that last round. Probably the same punch I gave him. Left hook to the body lands for George just now, though. But like he's being forced now to just lunge in and land what he can land. And it's just not really working. Most of the shots are getting blocked here. Loma's feet are quicker than George's hands. And George trying to counter. He cannot just get the timing right. Left hook. Loma's hand is up when he's throwing that straight left. So George is trying to time him coming in. But Loma's hand, right hand, is up. Oh, nice exchange from Toe. Like, nice shot. George did land a nice little shot there, but he got caught too. Loma looks good, guys. Loma does look very, very good. You know, for an older guy, the foot speed, the hand speed, you know, just being able to read his opponent and in time and be able to big left hand hits George. George was unbalanced. Almost went down. George tried to counter him and time an uppercut, but Loma had his left glove up there, caught it. Good 1-2 to end the round. All right. Again, I'm not even taking the pin out. The pin is chilling. Pin is chilling. I don't even need to write no more rounds. I'll let you guys know as soon as George does something here, but I'm still kind of leaning towards a later stoppage if this continues this way. Yeah, Philly, he don't even, like I was saying before, he don't even need to go into the angles bag. He's beating him with the straight left hand. The only debatable round was the first filling out round. You know, you can't even rob the dude. You feel me? You can't even rob him at this point. It's so clear that you can't even give George a round. He's not doing enough. You know, for him to land more than 2 shots in a round, it's a good round for him. And Loma is still getting warmed up. You don't want to be like this early against Lomachenko. You don't want to be like this early. He ain't even really tired yet. He's just frustrated. Wait till he gets tired. That's going to be a problem for George, man. What a dominant performance so far in the 6th round. George is covering up here. Loma's just too quick. The left hand is just too quick, man. And he's landing it with ease. You know, George has not landed many headshots. I'm curious. They're showing stats, but I'm curious how many headshots George has landed in this fight. Definitely no more than 6 or 7 here. It's all been body shots. He couldn't have started like this with T.O. and Devin. They had phenomenal jabs. You know, they had great jabs, and they were just sharper, man. They knew how to time Loma. It is different approach. George don't fight that way. Nice. I saw that shit. I saw that left hook from George land. Another right hand to the body from George. George is coming forward, very aggressive now. Think he's trying to get some, hyped himself up. He caught him with a left hook to the body and a right. Nice body shots from George here. Okay. Starting to wake up here. 50 seconds to go on his 6. Yeah, he has to come forward, Tim. Yeah, I agree with you there. Because backing up and waiting for the counter is not going to work for you. It's not going to work. He has to fight. He has to. He got to make it a dog fight. He has to. And that might not be good neither, but oh, good right hand counter to the body from George. George is doing some good work here. He's getting caught though. But George is doing some good work in this last minute and a half here in this round. But Loma's still coming in with a straight left. Good round for George. Could be a George round. Could be a George round. Could be a sympathy round too, but George did good that round. I like the work. He landed the heavier shots to the body here. I like it. I'm gonna give it George. I'm giving George that round. I like the body shot. I like the work. That was good work that round. All right. But Loma has every other round on my card. All right. George got that round to me. That's it though. That's all y'all gonna get from me. Unless something else happened. I'm giving George that round. So George, he needs to come forward. Waiting for the counter. He's not gonna get the timing down. Fight on his back foot. It's not gonna get it. He's gonna have to come forward and launch some right hands and left hooks to the body. And he has to be physical. He cannot afford to keep fighting on his back foot. You know, Vasyl Lomachenko, according to CompuBox, is 51% power punch connections. 51. You gotta have to come forward, bro. You gotta turn into a dog fight if you want to have any kind of shot here. Almost so good with them damn feints, man. I'll tell you one thing. That guy feints. He does it. He's like automatic to him. He's not even thinking about feinting. He's just doing it. Smash that like button, by the way, man. Hit that thumbs up for me. Hit that thumbs up for me. Good hook to the body from George. I saw that. Not much from Loma so far this round. A lot of feinting, but no left hands. George's face is starting to get busted up a little bit, man. Good left hand from Loma. And George swings, wild right hand. Loma ducks underneath it, and he falls to the ground, but no knockdown. Good left hand to the body from George. I saw it. I saw that. Good left hand to the body from Loma. Loma's really pressing him now. Got him against the ropes. Good pressure from Loma. George, again, left hook to the body, but Loma caught him with a bigger left hand to the face. Good right hand to the body again from George. George has been connected to the body consistently, but now Loma hits him to the body. Loma's putting real pressure on George, man. Another left hand to the body from Loma. just over 30 seconds left in the 7th round. Loma's just really walking him down. George looked good combo from Loma to the body. Another left hand to the body. Now it's like Loma's having revenge against George because George was tagging him to the body. So now Loma's just been hitting to the body for the last minute and a half or so. Loma's pissed off with the body shots. He's hitting this guy to the body. He's not even throwing nothing else. Loma hits him with another left hand to the body and caught some one up top. And George finishes the round, throwing a flurry. Loma round for me. Loma round. I gave George the 6, but I gave Loma the 7th. I am hungry. George right eye is cut, but I think there might have been I don't know if it's head clash, but it seemed like at the very end of the round when they kind of tied up, it seemed like I don't know if it was a headbutt or something. I don't know if it was from a punch, but it seemed like something caused the cut. It seemed like the very, very end of the round. All right, I have it scored. If you're just now joining us, I have a 6-1 for Lomachenko. Loma is just outscoring him, outclassed George. George getting outclassed, but he's a tough dude, man. He's still in the fight. He's still, he's a little busted up, but nothing too crazy. All right, 8th round here. See if he can make it to the 12th. Good. Loma starts this round out with a straight left to the body that connects. Loma has been still having his revenge by attacking the body of George Kambosos. George is back on the back foot again. His best moments to me was in the 6th round when he was coming forward, but now Loma is starting to step in and use those angles. You guys see that, right? He's coming in now, stepping around George and throwing flurries. He hasn't been doing that. He's been throwing straight lefts all night. Now he's starting to step in the 8th round here. George is bleeding. All right, so now we see blood. George is bleeding from the nose. He's taking some big punches here in this round so far. Yeah, Kambosos just took a right hook from. He's getting busted up pretty bad, y'all. Yeah. Well, this is Loma's moment. This is where Loma really starts to get in his bag. You know what I'm saying? This is when you want to be up at this point in the fight. You don't want to be down like George is right now. You want to be up in some rounds. You don't want to be down possibly every round. George throws a flurry to the body, but doesn't seem to have much of an effect here. George is bleeding from the right eye, too, from the end of the last round. Good combination from George to the body, but Loma caught him with a monster left hand up top. George caught him with a good right hand right there. George is fighting this round. 30 seconds to go in the 8th. George tried to catch him with a left hook, but he didn't really catch him clean there. Yeah, the ref has not been involved, y'all, by the way. I don't know what, but this ref has not been overly involved in the fight. He's only stepped in a couple of times. George is bleeding. His face is starting to. His face, because of that cut on his right eye, is starting to look really, really nasty, man. Another Loma round for me. I have it 7-1. Yeah, Loma round 8 is when he picked it. I gave Loma around 8, 9, 10, and 11 in the TO 1 to 12. All right, hit that thumbs up, man. Let's get these likes up, man. For real, let's get these up. All right. Let's get to 250, man. Are you guys still expecting a stoppage? You guys still expecting a stoppage? What do you guys think? Where you guys at with it? You think Loma is gonna get him, or you think George is gonna tough it out and make it to, one thing about George too, he hasn't really done much tying up. He's kind of just been, he's been taking the shots and taking it like a champ. He hasn't looked too bad. The thing is, Loma doesn't go out of control. Like, he'll land his flurries, but he'll still back out and reset himself. Some angles from Loma there. Oh, yeah. Good shot from George to the body. It looked like it was below the belt line a little bit, but ref didn't see it. Again, the ref has not. He's only stepped in a couple of times in his fight. He hasn't really been involved in the fight too much. He's letting these guys just do their thing. Good shot to the body, George, but Loma caught him with a left up top. Yeah, that eye's starting to look bad with that cut on George. Good jab from Loma. Good jab. George is forced to tie up, and Loma's using his free hand to still land punches while tied up. Loma's being very, very aggressive. He's not letting his foot off the gas. He's looking for any opportunity to land a shot, which is good. He needs to be this way. Kambosos, nice right hand to buy. I saw that. Great. Minute 20 seconds to go. Loma lands a left hand up top again, and he's backing George up. Loma lands a left to the body, and they're tied up. A few times when Loma's tied up with him, though, he's been just hitting him with that free hand. Whatever hand that's available, he's been throwing. George is going to need to land a good shot to make Loma have a little bit more respect for him. 45 seconds to go in the ninth. Good jab from Loma. Haven't got anything from Kambosos in a while. Closing out the ninth round. Kambosos, that cut is really bothering. You could tell that cut above on the side of his eyes really bothering him. Nice exchange from both. Still feel like Loma's getting a little better out of the exchanges. I gave it to Loma again. George did all right, though. George has been connected. Again, he hasn't shown to be really hurt. But the cut is getting worse each round now. Oh, yeah. It's 105. Happy Mother's Day, by the way, to the moms. We have any moms following? Anybody, all of the mothers that's following, any of the subscribers that's following, shout out to you. Shout out to ya. What's up, the Ripper? What's good? Shout out to Oklahoma. All right, round 10. All right. Unless George get a knockout, George needs a knockout to win already. Loma is really just pushing forward now. Lands some jabs, lands a big left hand, knocks the sweat out of George. George looks tough though, man. He looks strong. Still very durable. Loma's just keeping the pressure on him. George is doing a lot of blocking, a lot of defense in this round. Not a lot of offense from George, though. All right, 1:45, almost a minute 45 seconds ago. Now, George is tough. I told you guys, George took some monster shots from Teal in their fight. And that made me think that, he might be able to tough it out here. Good left hand to the body from Loma. Loma, not much punches, but he's in cruise control now, and I think he'll go for the stoppage if he could, but he's looking to just keep that accuracy high. And being that George is, again, he's still looking for counterpuncher opportunities here. It's not much action from him. Good shot from Loma. Good shot. "30 seconds ago. Nice right hand to the body from George. George is still showing a warrior's mentality. He's still letting his hands go. It's just not enough. Cut looks like it's starting to get bad again. But it's not the worst cut. It's kind of like on the outer side of his eye. It's above his eye, but they haven't done any close-ups to it. They've been doing commercials in between rounds, every round. Hey, I've only given George one round. He says time to stop giving all three in Australia. I mean, listen, if these fighters are happy with what they're getting paid, they're gonna keep flying out there. That's how it is. They're gonna take that flight out there, man. Two rounds left, y'all. 2 rounds left, and we can get on out of here, man. I can get some food. All right, let's go. Round 11. I think George landed more than one punch last round, but whatever, they got it. It is what it is. George's face is bad. Good right hand to the body. George's face is all busted up pretty bad, man. Loma looked like he's starting to He's picking up the pace here. Think he really wants to knock out here. I think he really wants to stop George. Oh, man. Loma's continuing doing what he was doing. All right, almost through halfway through the 11th round. Good jab from Loma. Good jab. Loma's trying to get in. I mean, you know, all these magical angles that we normally see from Lomachenko, I don't know if he's just not doing it because he feels like he doesn't need to do it. But, George, I feel like that's the only time George really ties up is when Loma's on the inside and invading his space. All right, 50 seconds to go in the 11th. Looks like they're just cruising to a decision. Good shot from Loma. George goes down, but he was pushed down. Oh, big body shot from Loma. And George Kambosos is down. This is what I said earlier. This is the only way he was going to be able to stop him. He got to go to the body, man. That was a monster shot. And George takes the knee, but he's back up. And he's still guarding his body. He might get stopped. He's getting stopped. It's over. Towel thrown in. You guys got it. Some of you guys got it. Some of you guys got it. Loma gets the stoppage in the late 11th round. Good win from Loma, man. George wasn't going to go down any other way. Yeah, good shot from the body, man. He hit him with a monster left hand to the body. And George got up, but he was still hurt, man. They just threw the towel in on him. Good job for you guys that won the late rounds bet. Dominant fight. Only gave George one round. Yeah, George is a tough guy, but he got in. He did it. He did it on a great night against Tio. But that's all. At this level, he's just not. Yeah, I don't know what he's gonna do next, but just not a good night for the Australian fighters tonight, man. Even one round. He said, "Tank just called out Kambosos." That was funny. Hey, guys ain't wasting no time. Damn, that guy hit him hard, man. George is a tough dude, man, but he wasn't taking that shot. So they were going to say Berenchek Navarrete fight, that Lomachenko is going to take the winner of that fight. I mean, guess they just going to treat Shakur like he's the final boss, because Shakur was champion when this fight was signed. Guess Shakur Stevenson's not going to get a shot next. I have Loma beating whoever wins that fight, by the way, between Navarrete and Berenchek. George showing respect and to Loma, clapping it up for him. Good fight. No, dominate fight, but George is tough dude. Crowd seemed to be quiet the entire night. I have Shakur beating Loma. I've had Shakur beating Loma the moment he moved up to 135. Very emotional win for Loma. But yeah, I've had Loma. I'm not changing my pick. Yeah, this is for a vacant IBF title. So I believe IBF, Loma has a title. WBA, Tank got the full title now. Shakur, I think, has the WBO or the WBC. And Navarrete against Baranchek is going to be for the other vacant title. So all titles will be held by someone by the end of the summer. Yeah, this was a robbery, bro. I don't know if they're showing a post-fight interview. They're showing Tim Bradley. And he did look like a prime Lomachenko. But again, George just couldn't do what these other guys could do. And if George stays in the game, you're going to have guys like Keyshawn Davis that's going to be looking to beat a former champion. Now he's going to be that guy that everybody that's on the come up is going to want to take a shot at. All right. But guys, I'm gonna keep it long. I'm not gonna do a recap video. I'm gonna take it to bed. It's really, really late. Thank you guys for hanging out with me this late. All right. I'll be back with you tomorrow. I'm gonna try to have the Usyk Fury breakdown done by Monday. All right, by noon, hopefully. All right. So I'll just be on the lookout for that. But no reaction video tonight. Whatever you guys see me here is what you get. All right. So thank you guys for being here so late, man. Y'all have a good night, man, and have a safe weekend. Peace.